I don't know who didn't teach you this, but it's time to learn. You're not going to buy your bananas and fire them on the counter or put them in your fruit basket as soon as they come home. They've been outside. People have been touching them. They're filthy. They have bugs. Wash them.
Sorry
PSA.
Sorry there, Howard Hughes, but what kind of
Oh,
soap
yeah.
do
How
you
dare
wash them
people
with?
be hygienic?
What do you wash them with?
My grandmother taught me just to use like regular dish soap and water.
What?
What? You know,
Yeah,
they're
like
they're
I
specialized.
don't put dish soap on my bananas, buddy.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 10 picks against the spread at Cust Corner Mini, the free money, all of the recap, and the fun that goes along with watching this show. Smash the like and sub to the channel, and I want to thank everyone who showed up to Monday Night Football watch along. The numbers were much better than I actually would have thought. So thank all of you for tuning in, supporting the show, sharing it around, smashing the like, entering the comment section. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with it too. Reminder, the DraftKings Listeners League link is now open. That's down in the description. And the Prop Sniper at runthesims.com. Runthesims.com. Code Mayo gets you 10% off on the prop sniper on all packages, but specifically the prop sniper package where Justin built that first touchdown and anytime touchdown simulator. He got Rashee Rice in the first game, and he got your boy Davis in the last game.
Unbelievable. Those are great calls. Now I feel like I wish I'd listened. In all sincerity, it was fun to have everyone join last night. I do feel like I owe the people an apology.
Why?
I mean, no, just in the sense that, like, we can't control it. I think Chargers, Jets, the way both those teams were, we all assume that there would be some fourth quarter insanity to go down or like moments of breakdowns. It was really just the slowest, most boring football game ever. And I feel like, you know, what we naturally wanted to come from that game never did. And I'm not a conversationalist during a Chargers game. And I'm certain Tim had Post-it notes reminding him to stay calm everywhere around his computer last night.
It's funny you say that because I got some feedback this morning from everything. So let's bring him in. He was on the losing end of the Monday Night Football watch along, but kept his composure the entire time. It was and is Tim Undergust.
Tim Undergust.
That's not my name.
You did keep your composure the entire time. I got some texts from people who were very surprised by that.
No, I'm glad to hear it. I'm not as off the wall as I've been advertised. That that the legends about me are taller than the reality.
Well, it's funny
You get
because
to know me.
it was.
I'm actually quite a normal, grounded, charming person.
Well, that's the thing. It was all from people who had watched Jets games with you before, and they were like, "What is he up to here? He's really holding it together based on what we normally see."
Well, there you have it. I am able to keep it together and not act like a crazy person and scream about what college a player went to as if that has any bearing on what's going on in front of me.
Well, we ran the straw poll for most insane last night, and it was closer than maybe I would have expected. Tim still marginally in the lead in what was going to be. I mean, Tim looking very sane versus Geoff, as someone pointed out, sweating third and short in like the beginning of the first quarter, up 7 points, just like stress bag in his hands. But people thought it was very authentic for Geoff, and people thought you were putting on a show, Tim.
I don't think I was. I wasn't super stressed about the game because, like, if we lose, we lose. Like, our quarterback is out. What does it matter? It's nice. I'd like to see them win, but at the same time, like, my team can't win the Super Bowl right now, so what do I care? Like, I'm excited.
So
I'm happy.
Bullshit. Like, I watch your Sunday night show, how you acted after these wins, how you were talking last week. You're going to beat the Chargers. It was your hinge game. You were then going to be 5-3. You were then going to be 5-3. And we would have to have no choice but to take it and respect the Jets and watch them in the playoff race, getting to play the Raiders. You were 6-3 in your head. So I like how you can balance it back. But I think it's what's most important here is the people who know you best, the people who watch 12 to 14 Jets games with you a season said, this is not Tim. Tim is performance artist right now.
Well, I refute that. I think acting on my best behavior, which is what I was last night, is perfectly reasonable in a game where, yeah, of course I wanted to win. First, of course I was excited after some wins, but at the same time, like, used to my team letting me down constantly, and I was well prepared for it. And it when you give up a punt return touchdown in the first 3 minutes, like, that sort of sets the stage for, okay, I think I know how this game is going to go. So, gee, I'm sorry that I wasn't running around like a crazy person, but I was true to how I was feeling, which is that it was somewhat melancholic. I was, cautiously optimistic.
Your only authentic reaction was your gig fit on our first punt of the game.
I mean, that was funny. It was funny how that Herbert panicked, and Herbert didn't particularly play very well in that game. That made me happy, I suppose.
Oh, the
that
Jets
our defense
defense
the Jets defense was able to make him look very mortal.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know what to say. The team played badly.
Well, I want to thank both of you for doing that. It was a nice pay-per-view style. People are like, I'd watch a bunch of games with you guys doing it. It's one of those things that a less is more, I think, is probably the best.
It was
attitude.
grueling.
It
was grueling. It's the sort of thing where if you wanted me to do it twice a year, I could give you 2 a year. That'd be it.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't really know where else we could do it. Maybe Garion and Tim for the Dolphins, but I don't know where else. Like it's not work. Like the Jets and Chargers is a once every 4-year matchup, and if it works, it works. But and on a Sunday afternoon, we're not doing that.
Well, that was the one thing that popped into my mind, since we're like here watching the games anyway. If there was a way to mic us up while we watch like the first slate of games or something like that, but I don't know if any of that language would be safe for the internet, depending on who was here watching the games with us.
That's true.
Well, you notice like anytime a player is mic'd up or is wearing like the team mic or the mic'd up for like team content, they usually show them letting the whole team know, like, I'm the rat today. Don't come near me. I'm mic'd up. That'd literally be like my friends if I brought a microphone into the basement during 1 o'clock. Like, do not come near me. Like, go away from me, buddy.
So this was the one comment that I wanted to share. I won't say who it's from, but it just said, Tim was just sipping pumpkin spice beer and you wouldn't even know he was a Jets fan. When I'm here, he's yelling at the TV and making comments at every decision or play anytime I've been there with you guys. So that was from Tambo.
Oh, yeah, that's another part.
I was in a mellow mood.
That's another part of it. Like, you debate, I had a fair-sized bet on the game. I was drinking. I was smoking. Like, my behavior needs to be quantified fairly versus him, I think, relative to actions. And I'll admit, like, I was nervous. And blowing out the Jets, maybe I should have thought that was in a range of outcomes, but I'm a Chargers fan. That's not in the range of outcomes usually. Although, as I've noticed and people point out, for all the jokes, and this isn't really a compliment, it's just a matter of fact, the only quarterbacks Brandon Staley has success against is able to confuse are literally just the worst quarterbacks. If you have any semblance of being able to get to the line of scrimmage and see what might be coming, you could dice Brandon Staley. But if you are totally inexperienced or horrible, those are the quarterbacks that Brandon Staley's defense can look good against. And those are the only ones.
That's tough come playoff time. Paul, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, as the guy, behind the camera, what I saw was Geoff living and giving people insight into his regular Chargers experience. And Tim was just campaigning. Like, that was a full-out campaign mode last night.
Full politician mode.
Mm-hmm.
You got Joe Biden watching the Jets games. Sleepy Tim over there.
How dare I be on my best behavior? I know.
And maybe I was a little obnoxious at points in the second half. I apologize, but it was authentic. But I'll only follow that up to say, like, I had I was petrified that what the Chargers normally do was going to happen during that game, and you guys were going to see it.
Nah.
Like, once the Chargers get up big, Tim is right. Like, he's got nothing to lose. His team sucks. The only thing now that, like, can save this is is the Chargers going full Chargers, and then I like it would be the most embarrassing thing ever. So that was my just kneel the ball, keep the clock running, like anything to prevent that was sort of my mindset through the second half.
So, Tim, I do want to apologize to you about the kneeling thing. So I went and looked at it, and they shouldn't have taken 3 knees, mainly because the Chargers had their full complement of timeouts. They used them. It's exactly the same situation, but with more time on the clock. However, I got into a discussion with someone today about drinking. And, I enjoy to drink from time to time, but I never drink hard liquor. I learned about 15 years ago, just stop drinking hard liquor. Nothing good happens when you, in particular, drink hard liquor. So I don't do it anymore. Not to say that I can't drink hard liquor. I can go out. I can have a vodka and water, a rum and Coke, whatever it might be. Yeah, I haven't had a drink of rum in a good 15 years. Shooting tequila used to be a thing that I used to love to do. Just don't do it anymore. Could I do it? Yes. Do I do it? No. Why? Because I know myself. And I hadn't reflected on that point, and that was the point you were trying to make. So I'm sorry.
That was the point I was trying to make?
Oh, I thought the point you were trying to make is that the Jets suck, so just take the knee.
Yeah, they suck. Take the knee.
Yeah,
you're only going to make it worse for yourself.
Because you know the Jets. You feel like you have that experience with them, and you know that nothing good can happen with it, even though in reality they should be able to do it.
Correct. I know what they're like. They can only hurt themselves.
Yeah. And that was when I was
from myself. Was from myself.
Shout out to Tambo, by the way. He qualified for King of the Beach. That's awesome. And he is giving away 10% of his winnings at King of the Beach. He only has the one lineup. He tried to qualify with 3. He got 1 through. So the top prize is $300,000. So you better be rooting for him to come in first place, because he's giving away 10% of his winnings to some of you. Not just one of you, but some of you. He's not just going to hand some guy $30K if he comes in first. But you can get ballots into the draw to become eligible for that by subscribing, rating, and reviewing the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple and Spotify, and leaving a 5-star review, and leave your name, your Twitter handle, your email, whatever it is, so we can identify you if you're a winner. Helps out the show bigly. And if you like Tambo's generosity, I highly recommend that you check out all the Ship It Nation shows for free on Mayo Media Network for all of the Island games, and NBA on Wednesdays and Fridays, or just go to shipitnation.com. Code Mayo will get you 10% off any of the packages that they have over there. Just football, just golf, all sports, whatever it is that you want to know. So shout out to my guy Tambo. Follow him at ToeTaggingTambo on Twitter. Let's jump into the games. Thursday night football. Just
no recap?
Oh yeah, that's right. I have to do the recap. I don't even have it pulled up. I was behind the scenes. I got running behind. But thank you for reminding me. Let me pull it up here. How did we do? I was 10-4 because the Jets. 10-4 because the Jets did not cover. Geoff moves to 9-5 because the Chargers covered. Tim, you were 6-8, and the coin was 8-6. So
I think we were all better
than what?
Those records.
I have no idea what I was. All I know is my super lock hit.
And Geoff's didn't. Me and you both hit our super lock, so we're both 5-4. Geoff falls to 3-5. You lost the money line parlay, and I remained in Survivor because Cleveland won. You think that the records were better than that, Geoff?
I thought you won more games than that, and I thought I won more games than that.
I had counted it wrong last night. I thought I was at 11, but I was actually at 10.
I want you to recount mine then, because I won more than 9.
You can do, if you want to do this every single week, then you can count it up before. I
haven't done this one time.
Pittsburgh, but you're always the one who goes through this. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Minnesota, Cleveland, Green Bay, Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chargers, 9. You had the Giants, you had the Bills, you had Carolina, you had Houston, and you had the Saints, -7. They did not cover.
That was a push.
Okay.
Oh, that's a push. Okay, that's a push then. So I have an extra. For some reason I thought it was 7.5. So I actually only have 9, and Geoff would have 8. Tim remains at 6, and Chicago +7 for the coin. The coin goes down to 7. So the coin and I both lose a game there because I had counted New Orleans as a winner. That was the discrepancy. But you didn't have any more wins, Geoff.
is got his Hardy Boys look on and does not agree with that statement. When you said, "Oh, Geoff, you're just at 8," the look that came across his face was one of, "I don't think so."
Well, he's at.
That's oh,
Well, he- well,
no,
no,
like my bookie.
I said he was at 9 because he got the Chargers right. So adding the Chargers, he has
like-
9,
like
which is
my
what I said he
bookie-
went. Well, I wasn't wrong about your record. I was wrong about my record.
Like my bookie, I usually resort to his numbers because he's usually always right, as is Pat.
So 9 and 5.
Well, I'm
that keeps
glad we
me,
went through this.
Yes, that keeps me a game behind you, and the coin falls 2 back. So Geoff is in the lead by a game over me and the coin now. Is where we sit for the season. We're all 3 of us are above 500, and Tim is just slightly below after going 6 and 8 this week. So there's the recap for you. Good?
Yep.
Thursday night football. Justin Fields may return in this game, but the spread is still listed. It's -3.5 for the Bears hosting the Panthers on the short week. It's been a limited practice for Justin Fields on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday will be the decision. Geoff, do you find it surprising that they've posted a number with Fields close to come? Like, if Fields comes back, do you think this number moves?
I don't think it would move more than like a half point, Pat.
That's not good for Justin Fields or Bears fans.
No, but I think that him being healthy, I feel like is baked into this line.
But it opened at 3 when we didn't know.
Then maybe I am very wrong, but I'm not expecting to see the Bears -6 or anything.
No, I would just find it funny that, like, we talked about this earlier in the year with Richardson and Minshew, that they didn't care who was starting. They just posted the Colts line because although Richardson is better than Gardner Minshew in terms of like winning equity at this point of their careers, they're about the same. I would find it hard to believe that Fields isn't an upgrade over Bajon.
Oh, they're both great runners.
I would agree. I mean, the quarterback, I mean, even like the Rams, right? Like that was pretty much baked into the line last week. It didn't really move when it was official with Stafford. And neither of many of the quarterback moves, except last week with the Browns and the Cardinals, when I guess it was announced that Kyler for sure wasn't playing, that thing jumped like 5 points.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, do you have any particular lean on this game? I just want to say that the Bears are going to thrash them, but every time I think that, the Bears just lay an egg.
Well, the last time they played on Thursday Night Football, which was like 3 weeks ago, they won 40-20. So I'll take the Bears. Don't watch this game. Go out to dinner with your significant other. Spend time with your family. Watch a TV show that you haven't caught up with.
Frasier?
Don't watch this. Sure, watch the new episodes of Frasier. Find something. You are not so beholden to the NFL that you need to sit down and watch or gamble on this game. You don't. You don't have to do anything with it. You can voice your objection to this awful game being on when they had the ability not to put it on by just not watching it. You can do that. You're capable of not watching this. We all are.
You could also just have it on in the background while you start your Christmas decorating.
Too early, but yes, you could.
That's too early? We're about
it's too early.
We're closer to Christmas to put up decorations.
I know,
than
but I like
Halloween.
to wait. I like to wait till after November 11th to put them up. So
do you have
that's
it?
just my principle.
Do you have your condo decorated for Remembrance Day? Then is that what you're up to?
I don't have anything decorated.
Oh.
It's
November
my ordinary
9th would be too early.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to start getting stuff ready in terms of like bringing stuff up, putting things in piles, et cetera, that'd be fine. But nothing goes up quite yet.
So right now,
do something productive.
Right now, is the decor stations barren? Like Halloween is down and
gone. It's
they're
all
like
barren.
the shelves at the store that are like going through the transition, but you could see the early signs of a new setup.
Every bit of that is. This place looks very stark right now, waiting for what you call my Etsy tables to be designed in a couple of weeks and the tree to go up and all that stuff. Yes, I bought some treasures on the weekend. I was doing some hunting, found some good stuff.
So the Run the Sim simulator actually has first touchdown odds for this game out, Geoff. Do you know who the best bet is for first touchdown and at what odds? But I have a guy for you if you really want to get crazy.
Chuba Hubbard.
It's Adam Thielen.
My fat thumb cheated when you mentioned it because
you just clicked on it.
I was already looking at the game, so when you asked about first touchdown, I hit the tab, and before you could finish your question, I had cheated.
Yeah, Adam Thielen at 11-1 is the best value on the board for first touchdown by the simulations. He scores the first touchdown in this game by 10,000 simulations at 12% of the time. So that versus 11-1 is actually it's not a good value. There's way better values on the board in terms of props every single week. But for first touchdowns, a score of 4 is actually quite good because most of them are massively minus EV. There is a guy. There he is, Steven Sullivan on Carolina. What are his first touchdown odds are 50-1. So you can find him on DraftKings at 50-1. And then there's another Tommy Tremble at other places are also lingering at 50-1. Both would fit your random tight end first touchdown theme, Geoff. And you can get them at 50-1 apiece for Carolina.
Yeah.
That Sullivan guy did more than you think last weekend. As someone who had Bryce Young, who did nothing on DraftKings, they're like, why does he keep targeting this random Sullivan guy?
I'm going to take the Panthers here. I certainly don't love it. I see the Bears winning by a field goal. I hope I could do what Tim is suggesting to do, which is not watch and maybe even go out for dinner. Sounds lovely.
You should. You got this is the time for choosing. You don't have to watch this game. It's not going to matter in iota towards this season's story. It doesn't matter. It's a preseason game. You don't need to watch it.
Khalil Herbert looks like he will return for the Bears in this game, too.
Good Herbert.
Yeah, the good Herbert. Khalil Herbert. Let's go to, as once again, Garion would say, Tim, jolly old Frankfurt for not a great export. We had a good one last week with 2 high-profile teams, some stars. Now we got Colts and Patriots. Minshew versus Mac Jones.
You don't have to watch this either. This is also a game that has zero juice and zero relevance to the season. You don't have to, if you're going to spend all day on Sunday watching football with friends, you don't have to watch this game. It's the last early game of the season. You can skip it. It's okay. It's a trash game between 2 bad teams. We are taking the Colts here because any opportunity to bet against the Patriots under a field goal is like taking candy from a baby. So we take the Colts because the Patriots are the worst team in the AFC by a reasonable amount. But you don't have to watch this game either. You only have so much time with your family. You don't need to waste it on Minshew versus Mac Jones instead. You don't have to. You don't have to watch it. Don't.
I don't know if our sponsor, the NFL and DraftKings, are going to like your stance of don't watch football and don't bet on these games.
These two games, you don't have to. There's a lot of great games on Sunday afternoon and evening to watch. Watch those and imbibe those. But these 2 games, you don't have to.
Geoff, I love the early Sunday game. It's like my favorite game every single week. But yes, Paul, you have something to say?
Yeah, like what else are we going to do? Go to church?
Well, some of us will, but you can do any number. Make breakfast or go out to breakfast with your family. Go for a drive. Go do something.
Go for a drive.
Go for a drive. Go do some sort of activity. Go do something.
Go to the grocery store like 4 times farther away than the closest one. Just
have a family morning. Do something productive. Don't watch this game. Your life will not be improved by watching this game. It will be marred by it.
Well, I highly disagree. This is the gym game. If people love going to the gym, this is perfect. You have something to watch while you're on the gym. You go on the treadmill for like 2 hours. Just go for a quick 10-mile run. You'll be good to go. Get through it.
Okay, that's different though. You're doing something productive. It's just on.
Have some prop bets on the game. Great. That's why I love this game so much. I can absorb this game while I'm being active, which I really like to do, which is a great boost for Sunday because for the rest of Sunday, I'm just going to be sitting on my ass eating.
Again, these games are not ideal for my attempt to be an okay dad, an average dad, because I will abandon my family.
I've abandoned my boy.
I've abandoned my child.
Unlike last week, this one doesn't seem to be worthwhile. I'm going to take the Patriots.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Okay, Cam.
Oh, Jeffrey.
No, it sucks.
Why?
It sucks.
Why?
It sucks. How do you do this?
You don't.
I wish the Colts were playing anyone else. I believe right now the Colts are such a fade team going forward. It is unfortunate they are playing the Patriots. I don't care to have a cent on this game. I'm going to be fading the Colts pretty hard in the coming weeks. I believe they are so overrated. Carolina
Hold on.
is so bad. They gave them a game and people, I don't know, the spread I guess should be higher. I'm just in a fade Colts mindset coming down here.
But how do you think that people rate the Colts? Like, they're saying that they're marginally better than the Patriots, which, to Tim's point, makes them a bottom 3 team in the AFC.
Okay, that is fair. I still believe relative to what they are an overrated team. Like, people think they're better than they actually are.
You know where they are in DVOA, and this surprises me. You know where they are?
22nd?
17th.
I wonder how much
best their offense is 12th overall.
Really?
That's really carrying it. And their defense is 12th overall. Remarkably stable.
Well, I think the defense got an artificial boost from last week by having 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm just that, they have a surprising amount of balance. I'm more toward Geoff on not really believing in this Colts team, for sure. And all the more reason that I'm against the Patriots in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Colts are good. I don't think they're making the playoffs. I just happen to think they're going to cover the 1.5 points here. That's where I'm at.
You're probably right.
Hey, they might sign Sammy Watkins, so watch out.
I like Sammy Watkins. I don't care.
You don't care that he's 40 years old?
I don't care. I don't still like him. It's like when Julio Jones plays for the Eagles. I like that he's out there.
I like that Julio is out there too, but like Julio's, is he a Hall? Oh my God, Sammy Watkins is only 30 years old. Good Lord.
That is insane.
Julio's a borderline Hall of Fame receiver. Like it was like when Jerry Rice played for the Seahawks. It's like, I don't want to see Jerry Rice retire. I wasn't around for the peak of Jerry Rice in the late 80s. I was around. I wasn't watching football when I was like 4 years old. But it was nice to get some Jerry Rice and be able to see that in real time. And listen, Julio is one of the best receivers of this generation, of like our generation of like watching football every single week. Sammy Watkins is not.
No, of course not. But it's just a name that I know, and I like when people are around that I remember. It's nostalgic.
Okay. Let's go to the early slate of games. Some good games here. Starting off with maybe the best game. There's 3 bangers in a row on the early slate. Number 1, Houston at Cincinnati. The Bengals are 6.5 point favorites at home. 48 is the over-under. I think this is a nice spot to fade the Texans. The Bengals defense is actually quite good, and the Texans still don't block very well. Maybe this is the ascent of CJ Stroud, but it does feel like a big-time letdown spot. Like, yeah, he shredded the Bucs defense, but this is the same guy that put up 12 points against Carolina 2 weeks before. I just think that the Bengals are the total package right now. They are on the ascent, and when we take a look at this 4 weeks from now, they're going to be, like in people's power rankings, they're going to be a top 3 team. So I'm going to take the Bengals.
Well, they play the Ravens next Thursday, so that will be in some ways decisive for the division since the Ravens already beat them once this year.
Agreed.
But yeah, the Bengals are sort of on an ascent here. The risk of this being a look-ahead game for that reason, because you've got Cincinnati or the Ravens in a must-win in terms of like having a home playoff game in your crosshairs next Thursday. But I am with you with the Bengals. I'm going to tease them down to the first part of a teaser. Tease them down to a -0.5 point.
So 6.5, or a 6-point teaser then.
Yes, indeed.
Cincinnati -0.5. They just need to win the game. I think. I mean, it could be a look ahead spot. You're correct. But Geoff, taking a look at the standings, just where everyone sits in the AFC North right now, like the Bengals are still technically in last. Like they're only 5-3, and there's a pretty like. You can't just donk off games, and especially AFC games right now, when you're just a part of that pack.
Donk off. Makes me laugh.
I think Jeff's on.
Jeff's mic is not. Yeah, Jeff's either on mute or his mic's
More
not
so
working.
than a look-ahead game, I'd say it's a sandwich game, right? Like your division rival who you're chasing up next. You're off that big game on Sunday night versus a I don't know, can the Bengals call the Bills their little brother at this point, like in that ecosystem of their battle? Maybe they can, the way the last few have and the stakes involved. have unfolded, I'm going to agree with you guys. In other scenarios, maybe I would play the other side here. That's also an emotional, like last second huge win, walk off pretty much for the Texans. Could be a close game. I'm going to lay the points with the Bengals. And I will also say there was a period of time on the internet where I was the only person not fully blaming Nick Cesario for the shit show in Houston. So good for them for seemingly figuring something out down there.
Maybe. I mean, is it one of these situations, because we kind of got suckered in with Dayball last year where he got the Giants up, they played above their head, he won Coach of the Year, and now we're seeing that I don't know if he's a bad coach or they just have terrible players or what's going on there. Are we seeing this from D'Amico Ryans that maybe next year, like if the Texans bat above their head here and like they finish 8-9 or 9-8 or something like that, it's like, hey, that's a really good year for the Texans. Year one with CJ Stroud, they're on the ascent, and then like maybe it turns out he's not actually a good coach.
It's different in the sense, though,
Very
that
different.
Daboll was trying to maximize potential out of a quarterback who we sort of knew his ceiling in Daniel Jones, whereas the Texans took Stroud second overall and he's really good, and that's why this Texan team is doing well. Still think that they were boneheaded in trading away to get the third pick overall for the pass rusher. That still didn't make any sense. But Stroud's really great, and if he's going to play great, then nothing else really matters for them. Like D'Amico,
but if they win 8 or 9 games, it's not such a horrible trade.
True.
Well, it still is because they gave away a first-round pick for a pass rusher.
No, but if he's dominant and they like him and it's just been good, that's a lot different.
But he hasn't been
handing
dominant,
over the 16th overall pick to get a top-end pass rusher. Like I think that
it's just they gave up too much for it. But again, it doesn't really matter when you have it. As long as you got your guy the pick before, people are just going to shrug their shoulders and look the other way because you drafted the right quarterback, and that will cover up any other mistakes you make. And they seem to have drafted the right quarterback. So
yeah, and it looks
it's not the same as Daboll. Daboll felt more, as to Tim's point, there was a maximization of an unknown commodity. Yes, Stroud is a bit of an unknown commodity, but when you haven't played yet and you're second overall, like you're held to a certain, like it just feels like a different ascension. But what's happened with Daboll and the Giants this year now will guarantee a horrific trend of winning Coach of the Year and then truly being horrible the next year. Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show they love to reward the guy that did the most with the least instead of the the coaches that we deem the best coaches.
Let's see. Yeah, Dayball. I mean, Vrabel won 2 years ago. I'd say that he continues to maximize the talent that he has.
But what happened the year after he won?
They went 9-8 and missed the playoffs in the last week. They had a chance to get in. Their team wasn't very good.
Anyhow, but fair enough. There's regression everywhere in that award, it seems. Though.
Yeah, Stefanski, Harbaugh, I would argue that. I forgot that Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, that Bears team went to the playoffs out of nowhere. They won the division.
Yeah, and McVay won the year before that. Yeah, you don't see like a lot of super high-end coaches. You did earlier. It's funny. When you take a look back at the early 2000s and even like the mid-aughts, you got like Belichick, Marty Schottenheimer, Lovie Smith, Sean Payton, Cuss guy, Bill Belichick, Mike Smith, don't remember that, Marvin Lewis, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, Bruce Arians, Ron Rivera the first time, Bruce Arians the second time, Ron Rivera the second time. And then it kind of kicks off like Jason Garrett wins. And then it's like, yeah. Then Jeff's point kind of stands outside of McVay. Anyway, I'm taking the Bengals in this game.
Cats.
Oh, we'll see if it's a cat week on the Best Bet show. I like that Rob said he was going to prod Cam about having the only loser on the Best Bets.
Oh, I felt maybe Cam was watching and he's prepared.
I doubt Cam was watching.
I mean, he might have been. I hope he was. So he's prepared for.
You think Cam is at like 7:30 on a Sunday? No,
I don't know. Well, Geoff does.
He's literally sitting at a watering hole with Visine Vince and his crew. He's not on his phone watching YouTube.
He might be betting on the ponies, but he's not watching YouTube.
Yeah, he might be at the OTB.
Saints at Vikings. This might be a super lock for me. The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites at home, and this goes against everything in my being because I really hate the Saints, but I think that the Saints trounce the Vikings this week. Too much good mo around the Vikings right now. Time to come back to earth.
I like a road team on the road and a road dome team, as you know, which is what the Saints are. Minus 2.5, so really I only really need them to win. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take the Saints here too.
What do you think, Geoff? Is it that the Vikings are being undervalued because people don't believe in them, or like they had no business winning that game last week?
Well, Dobbs is the great risk of stealing Jeff's bets for who's going to win comeback player of the year. So Jeff's got to now emphatically cheer against Dobbs.
Oh, what? What bets? Who do I have to win comeback player of the year?
Who do you have?
He has the field.
I have no player. I have just one guy isn't winning, and I have the field. So
I thought you
Josh Dobbs.
Did you actually get odds on the field?
Yes. Plus 340.
So okay? I'm glad
And
somebody gave
4
you
rounds
that.
of golf to 1 with Pizzola.
He is still favored.
He is still favored.
Can you do your impression again, Jeff, of his performance in the Dolphins game? I really enjoyed that performance from a week or two ago. Can you show me again? Can you show me again how Hamlin's performance in that game?
He just watched the touchbacks fly over his head.
Well, someone put out a theory to me of why he's not active for these games and why he was only active the one time.
Let me have it.
Is that they don't want to put themselves, like if he takes a bad hit again, like he might not be like he's all the way recovered, but they're not like quite sure that if they put him out on special teams once, he can watch the ball go over his head, not get hit, come back off the field. Then we can say that he played, he came back, everything is great, but like they don't want to get themselves into a situation where somehow he takes like a helmet to the heart or something like that trying to make a tackle, and then they're fucked.
I would like to say that the only PR situation going on right now is the meetings that the Bills have in the backlash of them doing what any other team would do if there wasn't this sentimental situation here, and either have him on the practice squad or straight cut him. Now that this Bengals game ended, I said it while intoxicated last night, but I do believe, for the most part, like the story ended on Sunday.
Well, that's
like,
just,
it's not ended. It will always be a part.
You living your narrative of what you want to happen. No team is cutting Damar Hamlin this year. It doesn't matter what team it was.
But that's true. You don't think the Bills and they're like GM goes like, shit, we really got to do this. Like, we've got to hold this guy on a roster spot.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, Paul.
With the amount of injuries on our defense right now, the fact that he's not playing kind of tells you everything about where he is in his game at this point. Like, we're absolutely banged up.
So the league needs to give the Bills a special exemption for a roster spot then.
Yeah, can we list him? Can we list him as a quarterback, right? You're able to do that?
Yeah, make him the third quarterback,
what's the thing that
quarterback.
What's the thing that they do with Taysom Hill to kind of like get an extra? That's what they do, right?
Do they?
They had that rule or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I believe you're able to bring a third quarterback, yeah.
I don't know how it affects the Saints and Taysom Hill, but I guess they could finagle. They could finagle that. The Bills, as I said last night, but I'll say it to what is probably a more consistent audience. When the Bengals got the ball back with like 2.5 minutes left, the Bills had their full complement of timeouts. They're down 6, and the first play is a deep post corner to Boyd. That is the Bengals literally saying, we don't respect you. You have, like, we will run this play. You can't stop it. And I feel horrible for the Bills because you can't compete against Mahomes and Lamar and these upper echelon AFC teams with the injuries they have on defense. See, it just no team could, in my opinion.
Maybe not, but I do think that we'll see how it plays out. Like, the Bills might miss the playoffs at this point, but I do think this is very reminiscent of the Super Bowl winning Packers team with Aaron Rodgers, where they were left dead. They had too many injuries on defense that they ended up getting the 7th or the 6th seed that year. Everyone wrote them off, and then Rodgers just played out of his mind. And they got guys back towards the end of the year a little bit, and then some of the fill-ins that they had kind of coalesced throughout the playoffs, and the defense got marginally better. Rodgers played out of his mind, and all of a sudden they win the Super Bowl. Like, everyone's been on the Bills' jock now for 3 years as the team that's going to break through. There is literally no one left on the Bills' jock. Everyone's off.
I mean, so much so that I think there's a real chance that Denver wins on Monday night.
No.
No, I think they're going to grind them into dust.
But to Pat's point, the Bills, if the role is like a true reversal where they enter the playoffs as like a true underdog that everyone is counted out. Yeah, you got an elite ultra high-end quarterback. Like, they could do damage. I remember that the Packers beat Arizona and Atlanta before the NFC title game, who I don't remember who they played before the Pittsburgh Super Bowl.
The Bears. The Bears, where Cutler got hurt in the first few minutes, and then,
they won like 10-3 or something.
No, maybe the Bills do need like the season to have and maybe that's already happened after Sunday, where it's a complete role reversal, where now we speak of the Bills almost as an underdog in the context of the AFC.
Which they do. Honestly, that's how people should be talking about them right now after watching them. Paul.
Just to talk about, like, you're like, oh, and then all the injuries and everyone comes back.
Well, not everyone came back. It's just the backup started playing a little bit better after some more experience.
Trey White's not coming back. Matt Milano's not coming back. Von Miller's basically a cab driver at this point. Guy can't get into a backfield. Completely useless. I mean, it's not his fault. He got injured and then just never really fully recovered. Yeah. I mean, it's bad. The outlook is very, very bad. What were you going to say, Tim?
Don't worry. It's only going to get worse.
Okay.
But does McDermott get fired if they make the playoffs?
I hope so.
No.
Please.
I don't think he gets fired if he has the excuse.
He has to win.
No, please fire him.
Something.
Yeah, but if they make the playoffs with like all these injuries and they sneak in, I think they'll probably get Miami in the first round and beat the shit out of them, and then be like, oh,
they're still going to be a great home field team as the weather gets freezing cold. So
they're not going to have any home.
No,
games.
like in December to win the games to get in.
Oh, sure, maybe.
Like, his home field advantage seems to be less quantifiable or less meaningful. I'm dumb enough, naive enough, whatever the word is, to think the Bills north of Thanksgiving at home actually do have a home field advantage.
See, other teams. I don't. I think the Bills are always better in a dome.
We've been making that point for years.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible weather last year in Buffalo, and Cincinnati came in and waxed them. Miami almost beat them with a backup quarterback. Even in that like awful Patriots game, didn't the Patriots beat them in that super shitty game?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. And then they nearly at home gave away a playoff game to Skylar Thompson.
I mentioned that one. That was the first round.
Honestly, the sad thing is, if you really do want to backtrack the Bills, like if you're a Bills hater like Tim, you could go back to last year and point to like when they broke. And then you look at the games from this year, like the Giant, like some of their wins were really embarrassing. And maybe the floor falling out conversation should have happened before, but they won ugly versus horrible teams.
I mean, they were fully healthy when the Jets beat them with that one arm tie behind their back in week 1. So looking forward to that Saturday night football game in Orchard Park against the Chargers the night before Christmas Eve.
It's in okay, you know what, on that note, let me tell you, that game is in LA, and as of the moment,
it is at LA. You're right. I apologize.
I think I'm going to that game because I'm going to be in San Diego. I really don't want, people might be like, I really don't want to go to the game. I do not want to go to the game.
Don't go.
My nephew
is Buffalo a big enough city?
Is
that a big enough city to fill up the Charger Stadium? Is that a big enough one?
Yes, because my problem is that's the one where I believe like Bills fans book Christmas vacations. So that's like a destination game, I feel, for a lot of.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd probably get more. Right. You'd probably get more Bills fans at a Chargers game in December than you would get Bills fans at a Chargers game in September.
Agreed. I totally agree. That is, though, you know how the Chargers this week again, they played Monday. They play the Lions, who are on a bye. That's a game where the Chargers play that's a short week game. That's
it's a
where the
Saturday night.
Chargers get some of their rest back. They play on the Thursday before that game, and the Bills play a late game. So that's actually a Widowmaker Bills game, if people want to know, which I don't think they care.
Well, to pick this game, do you remember what game it was, Geoff?
It was the Bills.
No,
No, Saints Vikings.
Saints Vikings.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm the Saints fanboy here. So if Pat is backing the Saints, there's no chance in the world I am getting off the Saints.
I worry that, I think it's like a 47% blitz rate now that Flores is bringing for the Vikings defense, which has essentially gone from 30th in the league to top 10 in the league just by changing defensive coordinators and actually like losing some pieces on defense, which is absolutely insane to think about. That if the blitz is super effective, Derek Carr might shit his pants. Because that's what he does.
Or Kamara could have 15 catches.
There's that part of it. That's probably the bet of the game. It'll probably be 5.5 receptions. Just bet the over on that.
Probably going to be over in the first half.
Yeah, ladder it up to 10 at like 4-1 or something like that and be on your way. Because it's just going to be deep balls and dump-offs in this game. As long as Carr can not throw it to the Vikings, I think they'll be okay. And I think the Vikings are going to have some problems moving the ball. Green Bay at Pittsburgh. We briefly discussed this game last night on the show. -3. The Steelers are favored at home, of course. Pickett is back under center. Jordan Love didn't really have to do anything last week against the Rams. They just ran the ball as much as they could. I think the Steelers present a better defensive challenge, especially at home, than the Rams did in Green Bay a week ago. It's not fun getting the Steelers to cover by more than a field goal because it's tough for them to play any sort of offense, but the Packers, they let Casual already go. It doesn't seem like they're all in on the season. They're not tanking, but they're not all in, and I think that Jordan Love is going to look very bad in this game. They'll somehow be up by 17, but that just means, Tim, that the Steelers got him where they want them for the cover.
Yeah, I couldn't in good conscience pick Green Bay in this game at all. Couldn't. Got to take the Steelers.
Steelers for me, Geoff. Coins on Green Bay.
I think this is going to be a 3-point game, so I'm going to take the points here. I don't love it. It's not in any super lock conversation. Can Pittsburgh even take advantage of where Green Bay sucks?
Well, Green Bay sucks because they have Jordan Love and can't score points. So that's a problem.
And the Steelers are wearing those throwbacks at the Love. It's going to be a very juiced place at Heinz Field this week. And I don't think Green Bay goes in there and gives them much of a game. I don't think they can.
Steelers win this game by 1 point. I'll take the Packers +3.
I like when you call your shots. I like when you Babe Ruth it and call your Fienberg.
This is I'm way more intrigued in this game than I feel like most. I can't get over Pittsburgh's voodoo, but we should be used to it by now. And they probably won't even need it versus the Packers, but it'll come into play.
Yeah, this game reeks of 13-6.
There's only 6 games at 1 o'clock this week.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's annoying. But that's what you get when you get an early game and you got 4 teams on bye. That happens.
All right. Tennessee and Tampa Bay is the next game, I think. Yeah, that's still a 1 o'clock game. Tampa is favored by a point at home in this game. 38 is the over-under. That's not promising for fun times. The Bucs are the worst against the spread home team since the beginning of last season at 2-9. And under tickets have cashed in 6 of Tennessee's past 8 games in warm weather. The expected kickoff in this game being 80 degrees. Still like Tennessee here. It feels really trappy in a weird way. And maybe your guy, Todd Bowles, can dial up a defense, Tim, that can take advantage of Will Levis and force him into some mistakes. But I don't know. If I'm Tennessee in this game, Geoff, I just, blitz the hell at a Baker. Hopefully he makes some stupid mistakes and just run with Derrick Henry every single time. And then do your generic 5 shots a game down. We just saw C.J. Stroud pick them apart deep. If there's one thing Will Levis can do is throw a deep ball.
This could be my super lock. The Bucs are horrible. They had a September that has still might be fooling people. Not to say the Titans are world beaters or that, maybe the line should be different, but I still feel like there's a haze from those first few weeks of the Buccaneers. The Titans They do not even need to blitz. Simmons and Autry will put pressure on Baker without even needing to send extra guys. You said it, Pat, regarding what Stroud was able to just chuck all over the yard. Levis has injected like excitement, I believe, into the players, into the practice. Veterans like DeAndre Hopkins are getting more involved. I love the Titans here. This is definitely a super lock consideration, maybe the favorite.
I do think that, I mean, Tim, our guy, Moonraker, it's tough after watching him on Thursday night. They do get the extended rest, too, having played Pittsburgh then. Maybe he's more, I don't know, he stands in there way too long. Yeah, I think he's going to get hurt.
Yeah, but Tampa doesn't have the pass rushers to get him. And look, here's the important part. The Pat Mayo theorem leads me to Tennessee in this instance. And Vrabel has a fantastic record as an underdog coach, too. All kinds of things conspire to want to take the Titans in this game. I'm right there.
I don't see the Titans being an underdog by the time kickoff happens. I just don't see money. I just don't see where the money comes in on Tampa Bay.
I don't either, but I still think the spread is wrong. I picked Tennessee on the show to be a favorite. I still think they should be.
Tennessee has a way of losing games. They've lost 4 one-score games so far this year.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, now we got bangers. One's very watchable. One's probably not watchable, but you probably flip that based on how the NFL ends up working. San Francisco, coming off bye, is at Jacksonville. The Jags are 3-point dogs at home right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. They're 6-2 against the spread so far this season. The Jags unders have come in 9 of Jacksonville's past 13 games against top 10 defenses. And frankly, to watch their games, their offense isn't very good. Their defense is actually pretty good. Like their offense is fine. The defense has been really good. But I, in particular, Geoff, am curious about how these new players integrate, or at least Chase Young integrates into San Francisco, and whether or not that just... Their secondary has been so bad that they need to generate more pressure to help them out on that front. Because if that's not the case, and if Zay Jones is back, this might be a good game for Trevi to pass all over them.
I really do like San Francisco here. Blindly. Like 3-game losing streak by a team we see as elite. Jacksonville's just like, I don't know. They're almost like full on victories right now. Been so impressed by how they rolled those wins in England, leaving England, not taking a bye, and they still haven't lost a game. So, like, mad respect, full respect to them and their program. But I am just taking the team that I don't believe in like Tim does, but I believe in them enough to get off a mat. I'm laying less than a field goal. This is blind 49ers. Will probably even have real money.
I like Jacksonville in this game, Tim.
I understand why. It's an AFC team versus an NFC team. Of course you like Jacksonville.
It's not only that. I mean, Debo coming back, I think, does help out a little bit. Brock Purdy's efficiency has dropped back to earth a little bit. We'll see how they can hold.
You love cats?
I do love cats. That's going to help in this game, rather than guys with big hats wearing denim and panhandling. But I just think this game plays to the under. I think both these defenses are going to play better. I mean, Jacksonville's defense will continue to play good. I think San Francisco's defense will play a little bit better. And the unders, just for both these teams, have been coming through far more than people think. And in that case, I generally like the points in games where I think the game is going to go under the total. So I think Jacksonville has enough offense to keep up. I do worry that San Francisco is always like, I wouldn't tease Jacksonville up because San Francisco is still a team that I think can blow the doors off people. If you catch them on the right week, they might just win like 42-10 or something like that. But there's a range of outcomes on these things. And I think most of the time Jacksonville covers the 3. So I will take Jacksonville.
I'll take San Francisco. I refuse to get off of them. I know with the proclamations I made a month ago, and it hasn't particularly gone well since then, but I'm still refusing to get off that and still going to go back to one more time with San Francisco here.
If you didn't demand, maybe you would be let off the hook easier. It wouldn't be thrown back in your face. If you didn't demand early credit for other things all the time.
I mean, maybe. Things so often don't go my way that I feel like if I can get credit early, it's better getting a little today than nothing tomorrow.
He's got the he's got the cash out option on credit.
Yeah, because except for at least one instance, which I am not going to mention because I refuse to bring it up on the show anymore, I've been pretty good about trying to get my credit early because in case it doesn't come in.
Yes, but it's not like other people are giving you the credit. You are yelling at us to give you credit.
Well, then give it to me.
But then we just bash the shit out of what you did to the 49ers?
Yeah, you can, and you have, and that's fine. I'm a big boy. I can take it.
I feel like we've been pretty easy on you with the 49ers, I think.
Yeah, I'm sticking with them. Should be a good game.
They still going to go
between what
they still the best bet to go undefeated?
Yeah, it's a great bet from here on out, actually.
Jeff?
The 49ers, what you did to the 49ers was probably more embarrassing to your claim of having a 50-50 chance to win the eliminator after week 3 or 4 and then losing the next week.
Well, that's all part of the 50% loss possibilities.
Is this the main screen game or Cincinnati Houston?
Well, after last week's main screen game, which, we let slide because there was no great one.
There was also no good games until the Vikings game got fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to roll with the Niners and the Jags, but I think Browns-Ravens has every potential to be that too.
That feels this game. I mean, maybe you're right. That's the next game.
I want to see Lamar. I want to see Lamar play.
We had Lamar on the main screen last week. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah, but they won and controlled. I'm excited every time Lamar comes on the TV, particularly in our room where we have people who are very not in favor of Lamar.
The Ravens are favored by 6 at home against the Browns in this game. This doesn't feel like a very fun game to watch.
Tease them down.
Yeah, I think I like that a lot.
Tease them down. If you believe as I do that Baltimore is, either the best or second best team in the AFC, pretty substantially so, then the Browns with a horrific quarterback even with a good defense, should not present much of a challenge on the road. So I like the Ravens here quite a bit.
I don't know what Deshaun Watson does against this defense. Can he throw some more bank shots for touchdowns? And that's the thing, because I would really like the Browns in this game, Jeff. I think their defense can compete with the Ravens' defense, and if that's the case, then 6 points is a lot of points for an intra-division game. But I don't know if they can score any points.
It's a lot of points. There's got to be a lot of concern in Cleveland. They're going to be out both tackles.
Yeah,
for a while, right? No.
I mean, the Browns have won. The Browns have won 3 of the past 4 games against the Ravens too.
Yeah, but how many of those did Lamar even play in? Like Lamar doesn't play the month of December in his career,
takes December off. I like it.
He has the last 2 years.
Let's see here. Lamar played when they won earlier this year, 28-3. Lamar.
I'm just gonna have to trust AFC North folklore and take the 6 points. It's also a look-ahead game for the Ravens. Tim mentioned that Bengals the Bengals aspect. Give me the 6 points for AFC North. That defense feels like a lot, but I wouldn't be shocked. The range of outcomes for here feels wider than most of those typical AFC North games. The Ravens are a true wagon potential here.
Yeah, it's funny because we always get to this point of the season where you see one of these teams and you wonder about it. It feels like Miami peaked really early. They were the team of September, and Baltimore has kind of taken that non-Kansas City excitement in the AFC. Like, oh my God, is this the team? Are we going to look back at the end of November and be like, oh man, they lost like 3 games in a row?
I mean, they have 2 divisional games here back to back, but they already passed a tough test, in my opinion, last week. So I like the position they're in.
So Lamar,
they're fantastic on both sides of the ball. It's hard to see the Browns scoring enough points to win the game.
Yeah,
or even cover.
That's my worry here. I do think the game goes to the under unless the Ravens post like 50 on them or something like that. But Lamar got hurt 4 games ago playing the Browns, and then Huntley came in. He played the time before that, and Brissett beat Lamar Jackson. And then it was Huntley when the Browns won the time before that last year. It was Watson versus Huntley. And then earlier this year, obviously, it was Lamar versus Watson, and they won that game. I'm going to take Cleveland.
I don't think it was against Watson. I think it was against that guy, wasn't it?
Oh, was that the one earlier this year? No.
Pretty sure.
The Dorian
Pretty
Thompson
sure the Ravens
game?
Browns. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the Ravens Browns game.
Oh. It was. It was the Dorian Thompson game. 19 for 36 for 121 yards and 3 picks. Yikes.
Good play calling. He should definitely be throwing the ball 36 times.
Well, they
Smart.
they lost the game 28-3. So at least they were still trying to win at some point. Just be like, hey, just chuck it somewhere on the field, Dorian, and see what happens. Yeah, I'll take Cleveland. Why not? Brings us to the halfway point of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
I'm under the impression, as I learned this weekend, that many of you don't scrub your fruits when they come in the house from the grocery store with soap and water. And I'm here to say what's wrong with you people. Bananas, oranges, I don't care that you don't eat the peel. They need to be washed the minute they come into your house. That is how bugs get into your house. That is how flies get into your house. You're touching it while you peel them. You have to scrub all of your fruits and any handheld thing like a tomato or something, cucumber, the second it comes in the house. I don't know who didn't teach you this, but it's time to learn. You're not going to buy your bananas and fire them on the counter or put them in your fruit basket as soon as they come home. They've been outside. People have been touching them. They're filthy. They have bugs. Wash them. PSA.
Sorry there, Howard Hughes, but what kind of soap
how
do you
dare
wash
people
them
be
with?
hygienic?
What do you wash them with?
My grandmother taught me just to use like regular dish soap and water.
What?
Yeah, they're
I
specialized.
don't put dish soap on my bananas, buddy.
It's just soap and water.
Just water.
Just wipe them
No,
off.
I was at my grandmother's Sunday, and I was having a banana, and she said, "Be careful, the peel is very soapy." And I said,
disgusting.
"Why?" She said, "Because I wash my stuff with soap and water." And I was like, "Of course, that's what a normal person does."
Consuming the soap may be considerably more unhealthy for you.
You're not consuming it. No, well, you wouldn't wash a peach. Nothing with the skin that you eat would you put soap on, of course. But on things that you do not eat, you want to wash with soap. You're not going to wash an apple that way. An apple, you're just going to scrub underwater.
Where does this, people confronted you about this, and this has been a thing that's been going on since the weekend?
I had this conversation with people since the weekend, and there are various people like, "Oh, I don't wash my bananas.
Yeah,
I don't wash my oranges. I don't wash my avocados." You mean you don't do that?
I mean,
of course you should.
I mean, my wife does that stuff, but if I buy the produce, I don't fucking wash it. I don't care. I'll eat a bit of dirt, bit of pesticide. Good for you. Toughen up your insides a bit.
You get bugs and flies in the house.
I mean, I don't have bugs and flies in my house, so I tend to eat the stuff pretty quickly.
It's just...
You're afraid of germs. It's okay.
Although I'm looking up, just out of curiosity, I looked up the CDC, and they don't think you should use soap. So, okay, you know what? Fine. Then don't. Then fine. You should still be washing them. You should still be washing them with water. Okay? If nothing else. So then omit the soap, okay? Don't use the soap. Fine. Omit it.
Yeah, give them a rinse.
Wash.
Yeah, give them a
Wash
rinse.
the guts to tell your grandma she's wrong?
No, I don't. I do not. I don't want to. No. But even wash all your produce thoroughly. Every bit of it as soon as it comes home. So she was telling me this story that she got recently. Well, when my uncle was visiting last, he put one of those phone charger things into the cigarette lighter of her car, so he could charge his phone. She doesn't have a smartphone, but then he laughed or whatever and left the charging thing in the cigarette lighter because she doesn't use it, and the battery died in her car. And she's convinced that what caused the battery to die in her car was the insertion of that charger in the cigarette lighter. I tried to explain, no, that wouldn't cause that. It wasn't drawing from that. But she's certain it was. So she then wrapped it up in a bag and kept it in the car in the console in case he wanted to use it sometime later.
I like your logic on that. That's good. That's sound logic. It wasn't
drawing it's not
any
drawing.
Power. There you
No, it's like if you have,
right.
if you have an extension cord plugged in a wall, it's not taking any power unless it's plugged into something.
This feels like a whole new world. Like your sanity really shines through when you're talking with your grandma about these things.
It was common sense. But yeah, to go back to my point, don't worry about the soap, but wash your produce, okay? Wash your produce.
So I have to ask you, you're washing your produce. Listen, I'm not saying don't wash your produce. I don't care either way. I don't need to wash it because it doesn't bother me. But if my kids are going to eat it, then I do wash it because I don't want them to ingest whatever it might be. But for me, I don't care. I assume that Geoff and Paul are probably exactly the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Geoff?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. I think it's more of like, do you care, do you not care type of thing. But do you think it's, and I assume you do that because you want to be safe with your food, right?
Yeah, safe and clean.
Yeah. So you're also the same guy that goes into restaurants like 2 minutes before they close, and yet you still eat the food that they give you, thinking that that's clean food then too.
It is clean. They're not treating me poorly. I'm leaving them a tip on the way out.
Not a good one.
3%.
How much?
3?
3?
3%.
Yeah, that's what you probably leave.
Am I supposed to tip when I go through the Starbucks drive-thru?
No.
No.
Because like it comes up with the tip option on the
everywhere
machine.
you go comes up with the
no,
tip
not
option.
everywhere. McDonald's doesn't. Tim Hortons doesn't. But some places do.
You don't have
so
to.
Starbucks is one that does have it. Is it bad form for me not to tip?
No. Don't
Am I required to?
No, don't be bullied by those automated machines.
See, I feel bullied by them.
I know that you do, but you don't feel bullied by them. That's how you stand up to the bully. Just say no.
What instance am I required to tip in a fast food situation?
Never.
Under any circumstances?
I don't think so, no.
Like if someone's making me a burrito.
Food?
Yeah, like if I go to a burrito store and they're making me a burrito, am I supposed to tip? Or Subway, am I supposed to tip?
No, because Subway is one of those places that will give you an option to tip. I mean, I didn't tip people at Subway 20 years ago or 10 years ago. No,
I would never tip at McDonald's or Subway, but I will tip at like the owner operated like classic burger spot. That's like a one-off that I like, or a sub sandwich, like a sandwich shop that's like the owner-operated guy.
That's different.
Yeah, but I'll never tip at like a conglomerate chain fast food.
But those places are also not giving you a machine with the option being like, the first thing that comes up, it's like, do you want to leave a 30% tip?
Yeah, no, it's more so like
crazy.
a jar.
Yeah, it's like a tip jar.
Yeah.
Like and tipping there is like throw in a buck or two or something like that. It's not.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like I over tip there, but that's like the only fast food I tip on. I do not tip on conglomerate fast food, which I eat a lot of.
And I wouldn't even consider that really tipping. That's more of like a donation to support a local business.
That's how I feel when I guess it feels like a combination of things as to why I should do it, and that's probably the biggest factor.
Yeah. Because if they got bought out by someone, you would stop tipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to tip. I mean, you can if you want
Okay,
to.
I just feel socially pressured.
You can tip at any of these places if you want to. You don't have to.
Well, I'm just curious what the etiquette is, because it seems like it's shifting all the time, and I'm not able to keep up on where I'm like socially obligated to do this and where I'm not obligated.
People are really turning on tipping. It feels like that's what I sense from the peoples out there.
Well, it does seem like it's being overdone. Like tipping used to have a very specific area where it made sense.
But now you go in to pay for gas. It's not even self-serve like the good old days, like Tim, and like a tipping option comes up.
Oh, I know. I saw that.
It is crazy where, yeah, it is a slippery slope. I do agree with Tim. It does feel like it's a constantly moving scale, and it's getting more and more egregious, but I don't know.
I don't know. We and the U.S. could just switch to the model of the rest of the world, and that seems to work out for the servers there. Pay them a living wage, and then you don't have to tip them.
Which would be fine, but we live in a context where there is tipping all around us, so we
when
have to
I
know.
go to a restaurant in America, I
tip
it's
more.
like crazy what me and my wife feel we should tip based on, and we do it happily. Service is good, but it's because you're like, no, this is their like whole salary, so we gotta tip good.
Yeah, because it's not even minimum wage plus tips. There's like a special server rate, isn't there? In the States?
Yeah, and they're splitting all that with the kitchen. You can really screw the servers. I never want to screw anyone over.
Yeah. You know who should get tipped but doesn't? The people that still ring through your groceries and pack up your bags for you.
Yeah, that would be nice to tip those people.
Yeah, because they're doing stuff.
Yeah, they're actually providing you a service. It's true.
But no one ever thinks to tip them.
Those people are pretty few and far between these days, though.
I mean, you can go out of your way. I mean, I prefer going to the self-checkout because it's faster.
I don't, because I prefer someone else to pack my bags for me.
Of course you do.
Because I always make the wrong decision. I always put the bread in the bottom, or I put the eggs at the bottom, or I don't think it through. Whatever goes through the ringer first or what goes in the bag first. And I always make the wrong decision. I don't like standing there all day playing Jenga with my groceries, okay? It's just
but you'd rather watch
doing.
the lady with 47 items scan through in front of you who's got 3 kids and is buying lunch for the week while you've got 8 things.
So what?
Okay. Shared experience.
Like, I'm a customer. I know that they're the experts on how to pack my bags. I'd rather they did it than me.
There's like 3 things you can't put at the bottom of your bag. Just put those to the side and pack it however you want.
Oh, but that's not true. There's actually a lot more things than that. Like, which produce do I not put on top? Which meats do I not want to put on top? Or on the bottom, sorry. Which, are flatbreads okay to be on the bottom because they're flat, or are they not because they're bread? Like, I shouldn't have to worry about asking
No, you
myself
shouldn't
all
put
these
them on
questions.
the bottom because they'll get cracked.
Will they? See, there you go. I say, who could know? You have to be an expert in these sorts of
What do you
things.
mean?
And I'm
Who
not.
could know? I'm not putting.
I don't know.
Tim, it's not rocket science. Put the heavy stuff on the bottom. Put the light stuff on top.
Well, the carton of eggs might be the heaviest thing I'm buying, so put that on the bottom then.
No, you.
Oh, put eggs on top, you dum-dum.
Like,
No, but you just
holy
said the
shit,
heaviest
dude.
stuff. Like, you're expecting me to be able to.
Well, because
basically
they can
keep,
break.
Tetris
They're
out there.
Okay, well,
that's
no,
a different situation.
I can't believe you're talking about this like you need an engineering degree to make sure your eggs don't get broken.
Well, I think it's more complicated than you think. Like I said, I think it's a lot like Tetris, where you have to know which pieces fit where. And I shouldn't have to do that. I'm
Tetris, but
spending
it's at
my
like
money.
a grade 4 level.
I'm spending my money. I shouldn't have to figure out how to pack my bags in the most efficient way. Someone can do that for me. That's part of the job. I love it.
You could put bread on top of eggs. But I wouldn't put anything
Can
heavy.
I?
You wouldn't put a can on top of eggs.
No,
You'll
but
break your eggs.
Additionally, what he just said was, what if eggs are the heaviest thing that he buys? Then you can put the eggs on the bottom. Because nothing's on top of them to break them.
Well,
Unless you're like
the
slamming your
flatbread's on
bag
top.
down.
You don't know that the flatbread should go on top of the eggs and not the flatbread under the eggs. Like you need someone to tell you that.
I don't know where it would go. Like, I know you're not supposed to put a loaf of bread at the very bottom, but like sometimes maybe that makes more sense to fit the bag in, so you don't have to buy an extra bag.
No, maybe you tower the bread.
Yeah, you don't want the
I
bread
don't
to
know
get
what that means.
squished. I mean, unless you don't care about the bread getting squishy, then who cares?
Well, I don't want it to get squished.
Well,
but
then
I
put
mean,
it on the top
I
so nothing's on top of it.
I don't.
You've
but
got
it
a
might not get-
doctorate, but like, and
Not in this.
Yeah, but you're talking about this like you need to be an engineer.
I think there's a pseudo sort of a science to this.
Also, imagine
Yes, but on the
imagine
most
buying bags,
elementary-
right, Jeff?
I agree. There is a pseudoscience.
Yeah,
But it's
I
at
know
like
Jeff
a
doesn't
kinder-
buy bags. That's right. That's a fair point. Jeff doesn't worry about
It's
buying
an
any extra bags.
elementary kindergarten level, the science you speak of.
Yeah, it's like when you first start playing Tetris and the pieces are going really slowly. It's not like when it speeds up and then you got real decisions to make. You got time here.
I mentioned that because those have been coming up recently on my TikTok feeds, like expert high-level Tetris players.
Would you
Hey, listen,
would you
Tim.
consider yourself a high-level Tetris player or no?
No, not as fast as they are. They're like they know where to put it before the piece even appears. Like it's quite wild.
They're like
Someone brought it up on Twitter that as a society, we are just accepting losing things and having to do the work ourselves. They reference the self-checkout as one of them, and they feel that they should get a little discount for packing their own bag. And I noticed, listen, you want to make yourself whole? Just take a couple bags and don't pay for them.
Was that
Once again advising people to steal on the Pat Mayo experience?
I bet you that was well received, though, wasn't it, Geoff?
People, if you were like, I do believe we are going to get to the point where this bag thing, it's going to reach too far where the stores actually man up and say, if you are spending like $30 here, you get bags. You get a bag. You're spending $50, take as many. You're spending $100, you get the bags. That
is something that will happen in the United States and will never happen in Canada. You get like deals on cigs in the States. Like buy one pack, get one free. Never happened here. Be like, here's $30 a pack. Deal with it. By the way, I've saved so much money quitting smoking. It's unbelievable.
Good for you. Well, congratulations on saving the money. I'll say more so congratulations on I guess better health.
Yeah, I've been dabbling. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's not the same as like smoking a pack a day.
I just don't understand why I should have to pack my own groceries. That's what bothers me. Why should I have to do it? It's complicated. It's hard. It is not as easy as it looks. I never know what goes where. Why should I be expected to do it?
You're Al Borland grocery shopping.
So?
There's women out there who are literally buying for like a house of 6, and you're complaining about the 7 items you're purchasing.
Yes, because sometimes I'm buying like a full run of groceries. Because my fridge is barren and I need to buy a bunch of stuff. Like I've gotten down to the point where all I've got left in the house is condiments.
Nothing. You need you're such a baby because
I'm not a baby.
Bag your groceries, and then the next episode of Tim is I need someone to push the elevator button because I'm holding 3 bags of groceries.
Wouldn't that be nice? It would have been nice to have someone be the elevator concierge when I was carrying down my Halloween decorations. I'll tell you that.
I thought about you holding your tote filled with decorations, needing to push the buttons. I thought about you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't want to put the tote on the dirty floor where everybody walks.
I had a question.
It's an oversized Tupperware, I assume, right?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
a duffel bag. What are we
it's
talking
like
about?
A big oversized Tupperware bin.
So there is a solution to this bag problem. And I think I've thrown this out here before, but it should work on a deposit basis with the bags, almost like you have with like cans, where if you bring them back, you get some money back. That you should be able to bring the bags back for money, or like
I would make so much money.
Yeah,
but Tim would want to wash the bag before he put like his bananas in there.
Well, you should like put a Lysol wipe run through the inside of the bag when you take groceries out. There's bugs and stuff in there. Again, hygiene.
I don't know. The bags is like a thing of principle because I saw this like. It's not even that people
what's the
can't
principle?
afford them.
I can take whatever I want. Is that the principle?
No, I saw a lady like she like just by the car she got into, but she's like holding like 7 7 items, and she's like holding it with her chin, and it's just like, no, she's made the principal decision. I am not paying for the bag. Like clearly you could tell her husband has a job where he would just be like, honey, pay for the bag. I don't.
Well,
give a
maybe
shit.
that's how she got to afford an Alfa Romeo, by not purchasing bags every time she goes to the store, but has too much self-dignity to just pilfer one every time she's there and drop the tag in the exact same garbage bin that they do it every single time.
I forgot.
But then buy an extra box of Pop-Tarts so it all makes up for it.
No, it wasn't. It was like gourmet cookies.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Forgot to tell you, I drove an Alfa Romeo as like a rental car within the past year. I really liked it. And
I bet you they're fantastic cars.
What was that one golf event where like none of us had ever heard of Alfa Romeo before, but they like bought out the advertising for it, and it really worked.
That was like 15 years ago.
No, it wasn't 15 years ago. It's Jeff and I worked together, so it's been within the past 10 years. I think it was a U.S. Open, like brought to you by Alfa Romeo, and I was like, I don't know what this car is, and it's like they're kind of great.
Yeah, after English cars, Italian cars are probably the best.
Aren't Italian cars the best cars?
Oh, there are no Rolls or Bentley or anything like that. But after that,
I don't know. Like, I think I would just
or
rather
McLaren.
I think I would just rather own a Ferrari or a Maserati than own like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce.
I would. Oh no. Well, maybe
like,
you.
those
One of my life dreams.
I know
is
it's
to
one of
have
your
a
dreams,
Rolls-Royce.
but those are like real stodgy old people cars. The other ones seem like
Whatever.
fun to drive. That's
Where
why
Geoff lives, there must be a lot of Rolls Royces and nice cars like that. What do you see, Geoff?
Nothing where I live, buddy.
Oh, because they all park underground somewhere else.
No, there's no Rolls Royces on my block. It's just a lot of like Jeeps and
Okay.
I guess Teslas, but Teslas apparently really cheap.
Teslas
now.
are
Not that I
everywhere.
want a Tesla.
Yeah, and people
Yeah,
like
Teslas
actively
aren't a luxury car.
Yeah, people go and actively. I mean, they're not cheap by any
Yeah,
means.
but a luxury car is an
No,
Alfa
but they're
Romeo.
cheap. Like compared to people,
I'm pretty sure Teslas
like
are
you
more
had
than
to
Alfa
wait
Romeos.
2.5 years for your Tesla. Like compared to what I feel like the weight and the prices were on the same cars a couple years ago, I think they've actually gone down. But I don't. When I'm walking my dog and I hear those electronic cars pull up to stop signs,
Well,
it
you can't hear
bothers
them.
me.
You
I'm
can't hear them.
sorry.
They just glide.
Yeah, I know that you can hear them. It's like a battery thing. I don't know. I guess I'm a bag stealing, fuel guzzling guy. Call me.
I like the pickup of the Alfa Romeo.
I believe it.
It's just
But
like-
I bet you it's a fantastic automobile.
Yeah, I mean they're not super expensive. I mean they can be super expensive, but like your base.
Well, the
model-
nice ones would be. Nice ones would be expensive. Like you're not getting a base model Alfa Romeo.
No,
you're just getting a base model.
probably
With crank windows.
Crank window. Did you have crank windows in your car?
I haven't had crank windows in a car in a long time.
Okay, just wondering.
No.
Oh, electrified Alfa Romeos. No, one thing I like because I drove a Fiat once, but I think that's also an Italian one. It was like driving an.
They are.
It's like driving an overpowered go kart. It's like being.
Yeah, Fiats are not. Yeah, impressive.
It's like being towed in Mario Kart. Like you got a lot of speed for the first 10 yards. It's like, and then you kind of level out a little bit. But like I drove one, like the few times I've driven in a Tesla, I found the pickup on it was fucking incredible. Like it goes fast,
bet it is.
quickly.
I bet you a McLaren would be like that too.
I would guess
That's not one
so,
of
Tim.
those.
Yes, I would guess a McLaren would be like that.
I'd like to have one of those.
Then get
Like
one.
at my dream house, part of the reason I'd like to have the drive up circle driveway is so that I could park all my luxury cars in the circle.
You would want to park your luxury vehicles outside,
So that people could see them. I want to see them. I don't want them in a dark, dingy garage.
But
I want to be able to see them and then be seen.
But you're against drinking beer on a patio to be seen. But you want to buy
Seen
$3
by my
million
guests and by me.
But you want to buy $5 million worth of cars just to show them off and not even drive them.
Tim, you put those in a garage. You're a mark, buddy. You're a mark.
Really?
Car thefts, neighborhood break-ins, like
Well,
that
they're not going
shit's
to
going
they're not
up
going to
big
go over
time.
my fence.
Now, who could ever get over
Oh
a
yeah,
fence?
you're gated. Sorry, I forgot your gated fence. I forgot.
I had one
It would
more
be
thing
so
for
awesome to cruise around in a Rolls Royce. Oh my goodness.
you. Then get
Go
one.
ahead.
Just like how you're going to
Would you
finance
be?
a new
Wouldn't
Master
you be
and Commander
chauffeur?
movie.
Aren't Rolls Royces to be chauffeured in? Do people?
No. Like the Kulan and stuff like that. Anyway, go ahead. What's your other thing?
Okay, so I think this is a bigger episode that we can do with more people over the course of time because I'm looking for my new, like, whatever the big bracket is for next year. That'd be great in the comment section. We did the best sitcom bracket that is now over, and that kind of came up spur of the moment when we put everything through. But, like, we'll do some sort of bracket. I want to ask you guys, and we'll get back to the games after this. Who is your favorite, like, good mid-level NFL player of, like, the past 15 years? Like, maybe it's a guy you had in fantasy every year who was, like, okay, but not great, but you just had him every single year. Someone you just kind of root for because it sounds like it could be Sammy Watkins for Tim.
Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis is your guy?
I was a big fan of Vernon Davis.
I think my guy's Doug Baldwin.
It's like Jameis Winston count.
I mean, he was the first pick in the draft.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And he's a quarterback. So
Yeah.
Mike Sims Walker. I like that guy.
Mike Sims Walker. Forgot
Yeah,
about him.
I like that guy.
Sidney Rice for 2 years. That guy was my guy. Geoff doesn't have any. He has Chargers and quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, When I was younger, I've been like Wesley Walls, Ben Coates. Like I really liked Mark Chimura before his hot tub incident.
You know what we never got like a 30 for 30 on? The Viking
No.
sex boat.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that. That or the, what was his name? His last name was Smith. He got caught with the Wizinator in the airport.
The
for Viking.
Wizinator.
What was his first? It started with an O.
Orlando or
was it Orlando Smith? Orlando Smith Wizinator. But they should ask Nate Burleson that question because he was on the sex boat Vikings team. He would have
Nate Burleson is like too mainstream now.
Well, then maybe he can talk about it open. It doesn't even
He's
actually
like 2 notches below Michael Strahan, like mainstream.
But the thing that I never understood about the sex boat was didn't sound all that bad. Like in terms of like crime, it was a crime of the oldest profession. It sounded like they had like hookers and drugs. I'm like, who cares? Not hurting anyone.
Would Mike Allstott count for this?
I don't think so. He was being a white guy that was
He
a running
star,
back.
but he wasn't a running back though.
He was a
He's a fullback.
He scored touchdowns near the goal line. He had like double-digit touchdowns one year. And he was a white running back. So people were like, yeah, that guy. I like that. You know how many people had Mike Allstott Tampa jerseys? Tons.
Yeah, they were pretty popular, weren't they?
Yeah. Wizinator. What the hell is that guy's first name? Yeah, it is Orlando Smith. Ontario Smith is his name. Ontario Smith. Ontario Raymond Lloyd Smith. He's older than me. How about that? He's in his 40s now. All right, let's get back to the games. Atlanta at Arizona. It looks like this is the return of Kaiwa Moe. And they are only an underdog by 1 point in this game to Atlanta, who is continuing to start Taylor Heineke as their quarterback per Arthur Smith this week. The Falcons will go on bye next week, so they might go back to Ritter after that.
That's good. That's good strategy.
Yeah. You need time, or they might stick with him. Atlanta's 2-7 against the spread right now, so they're due for some regression back upwards here. I don't know what to make of Kyler in the first game. Like, he might be bad because he hasn't played in basically a year coming off major knee surgery, but that would still make him so much better than Clayton Tune that they threw out last week that I don't know how to judge. James Conner might be back for this game too for them. And they've been a lot better when James Conner's been active.
I'll take the Falcons. I don't expect good performance out of the shoot from Murray. It'll take some time to get up to speed. I think the Falcons are being criminally undervalued here. You got to take Atlanta.
Totally agree with Tim. This could also be the super lock. It's that or the Titans I mentioned earlier. The Cardinals are just pathetic against the run. The matchup works perfectly for Atlanta. And even if you think that they're a little limited in their play calling, well, this fits right into how they like to game script. I think the Cardinals, it's hard to call a 1-8 team overrated, but I believe the Kyler Murray news this week has them overrated in this moment. Maybe I'm disrespecting what he brings, but I love Atlanta here. Love them.
I like Arizona a lot. I think they should be favored in this game. Like, what does Atlanta do that would have you leading you to believe that they're any good? That they have guys in fantasy that people drafted? But beyond that, what do they do? And those guys aren't even good. They're all busts.
But Arizona's worse at everything, and their defense in particular.
Well, they are.
It's just such a handicap.
They are bad, but I think they might have a better coach. And I think that if Kyler's 80% of what he was in this game, they have by far the better quarterback. That's helpful.
I do like their coach's dishes situation. He only brings out the dishes for 3 or 4 times a year, right? And the paper plates the rest of the way through.
That used to be your jam, but now you use regular plates.
Because you bought me a bunch.
That's true. You don't have to use paper plates anymore.
It's true, so I don't.
All right, I'm going to take Arizona here. This game has my curiosity.
Yeah.
This game has my curiosity.
Yeah, for a late slate that doesn't have a whole lot of interest in it. I mean, I think Jeff's game is the only one that I really care about.
Oh, I think
Washington. Romo.
I mean, Giants Dallas is on this slate too. I guess that's a Fox game.
Yeah, that's
unwatchable.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Nance and Romo are going to the Chargers game.
Okay,
So CBS doubleheader.
I would.
Are they?
Yeah.
I thought they could have been going to the AFC North games.
No, they got your game. Although it's weird because the Lions are a road team, and usually the CBS doesn't have
No, that rule changed.
NFC
They
road
changed that a
games.
couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
Does that mean San Francisco Jacksonville is a CBS game too? Then
No, I bet you that's probably the Fox game where they send Greg Olson.
no. I think unless they change it up, I think the Giants Dallas will be that game because I think they pre-programmed them in. And when you just looked at that game on the schedule and it's not a primetime game, it's like, well, that's going to be the game that everyone watches. And now we're sitting here where they're 16-point favorites.
It is San Fran Jacksonville is a Fox game.
Is it? So maybe they swap them out to that. That would make more sense. But
Cleveland Baltimore is also a Fox game.
That makes no sense because that's AFC.
I know they changed that though. There's more like wife sharing in that relationship now. I believe Nance and Romo are going to do Chargers Lions based on.
I just said that. I just said that.
Jacksonville, San Francisco is Fox, by the way.
Which Geoff just said.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening to anybody on this show.
Well, that would make more sense. That's what happens most of the time. So Arizona for myself and the coin, Atlanta for you guys. It's your team, Geoff. Detroit at the Chargers. Chargers are.
I think this spread. Oh, sorry.
2.5-point underdogs at home against the Lions. And this is where the test is going to be put in place. 48.5 is a lot of points. I will take the Chargers, Geoff, plus 2.5 to continue my AFC better than NFC theory.
I do think this gets to a field goal, Pat. I do believe this line will continue to move in favor of the Lions off their bye. They can be impressive. The Chargers, I don't really know what you take away from their Bears and Lions victories.
Jets.
Bears and Jets victories. Oh, would I love to beat the Lions. All I guess I take away from them is like they're not, there's a moment where people were trying to bottom barrel us. Clearly, they're not in that class. There's a bit of an unknown as to how good the Chargers could be. I think we all agreed that they don't have the ceiling I want them to have, but there's still a bit of an unknown of what they can do. They lose to good teams. They play close games.
They're basically fancy Tennessee.
No, they're less good. Are they closer? Is Miami closer to the Chargers than to the true top of the AFC?
Probably.
Who's Miami closer to?
Equidistant, but probably slightly closer to the Chargers.
The Chargers, they played a 2-point game versus the Chargers.
Yeah, that's right. So probably slightly closer.
And then look at the good teams the Chargers have lost to. Like they lose to good teams. They just have played less bad teams than Miami has.
The Chargers are to the AFC to like what the Vikings are to the NFC right now.
Well, we are blood brothers, us and the Vikings, in so many ways, and mainly in stupidity and giving things away and never being on the right side when it matters. I mean, this offensive coordinator in Detroit is supposed to be the hottest coordinating head coach candidate in the league. Now he's off a bye versus a defense that good quarterbacks can take apart. So I am pretty nervous. I don't want to get waxed by the Lions. I feel like we're not getting proper value here on the spread because I do think we're going to see a 3 points before this thing ends. But
the Lions are cats.
Yeah. If the Chargers can win this game, it would change everything.
Would it?
No, in terms of what I think, no.
Just so they can lose to the Packers next week?
Yeah.
No, Tim, hold on though. You agree if they win, I don't know what this win would do for their playoff probability.
It keeps them definitely right in the thick of the wild card hunt. No doubt about it.
In a very thick spot. They have to steal one of these games. They have been unable to steal all year. I don't really have the confidence that they can, which sucks being a fan. Who's the coin like?
The coin likes Detroit.
Shit. I'll copy Pat. Who?
You're taking the Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay. Tim.
I'm teasing the Chargers up.
Get away from us.
No, I am teasing the Chargers up, and I'm taking the Chargers exclusively on Pat's NFC AFC theory.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose that and then try to curse my theory, then take San Francisco and not go with it.
Well, but I'd already made a pre-existing commitment to San Francisco.
Okay, I see how that works. So you're taking the Chargers as well. Almost a round of Chargers. The coin is going to win a lot of bucks here on Detroit, I think. We'll see. I saw a stat about Detroit that they've given up the highest percentage of rushes that go for 3 yards or more in the league. But they also give up the fewest amount of rushes under 10 yards in the league. So people run for 4 yards against them every time, apparently.
I don't know if this is confirmed, but smart people on the internet are saying that when the Chargers, since Justin Herbert has entered the league, when the Chargers give up less than 28 points, he's 23-6.
So when the Chargers play a good defensive game, they win? So it's irrelevant.
No. A good defensive game. When the Chargers don't give up like 10 more points than the league median, when the Chargers aren't the worst defense on the planet, Justin Herbert can win games. Apparently, when we give up a lot of points, we struggle. But I don't know if that's actually real. But people are smarter than me saying that.
So internet guy with glasses is saying that if the Chargers don't give up 40 points, they have a better chance of winning, is what you're saying?
When the Chargers aren't nut low on defense, Justin Herbert wins a lot of games that other Never mind.
I mean,
it's fine.
Do we have that set on any other team? Like when they don't give up 40 points in a game, that the other quarterback's not so bad either? Or is it just Justin Herbert related?
No one gives up 28 points more
than the Chargers?
Not even close.
I mean, the Colts have done it 6 times this year, I think.
I'm saying since he's entered the league, it is not close.
He's also tied for the fewest playoff wins since coming in the league. I saw that stat.
0. Dude, lowest all-time playoff wins. He is tied with Caleb Toon in career playoff wins.
And Zach Wilson.
And Christian Hackenberg.
The hack. Forgot about him. All right.
Yes, that is true.
Giants and Dallas. Dallas is up to a 16-point favorite now, I believe, is what it is at DraftKings. Yeah, 16 points. I like the Cowboys. What the fuck are the Giants going to do here?
Who do they play on Thanksgiving?
Washington.
Thank you.
At least that game's like Washington's frisky enough to throw the ball 60 times and like complete some of them.
Yes.
So at least that game's fun.
Washington's entertaining.
They might get sacked 11 billion times in that game, but whatever. Sam Howell get up and chuck it again. No big deal.
Exactly. They have playmakers. The Giants don't.
I think I brought this up on the stream last night, so if anyone missed it, the move here is just to same game parlay every single Giants receiving option that's not Saquon Barkley to the under. Like all 7 of them and see what that pays and bet that. Might pay like 30 to 1 or something. Paul.
And add Saquon carries over.
Yeah.
I don't care what the total. He had like 37 like the other day, right? Like,
is that what he had? 37?
When Daniel Jones didn't start, I think it was like the DeVito show. I think he had 37 carries in that game.
That was the Jets game, wasn't it?
Okay.
It sounds about right.
The only chance I honestly think the Giants have to cover the number, Pat, is if they are truly playing to just cover the number. Like when they're down multiple scores, their strategy isn't to win, it's to like cover the number. In the same way, as an example that like a golf guy might understand, let's say you and I or someone who's so much better than you gave you an insane amount of strokes, like 20 or 30 strokes, your strategy would change. You're not like trying to play the best golf you've ever played. You're literally just trying to like hit it forward 130 yards straight and you are fine. Like to cover the spread. You're not trying to hit a great golf shot.
I mean, I can barely hit good golf shots when I'm trying. I couldn't imagine trying to hit like mediocre golf shots. That sounds like it would go worse.
No, No, but I mean, like, if you have so many strokes, like every situation is just like in play. You don't have to attempt any hero shot to cover the spread. Like everything is like the chip. I'm playing to the fattest. Like I'm taking no risk. I'll go 30 feet left just so I don't have to chip over that bunker. Anyhow,
that's how Tim
the
plays,
only chance the
way.
Giants have to cover the game is if the game plan, the strategy, the preparation for the game is centered around covering the game. It's not. They're going to get demolished. I don't know. I don't bet real money on spreads like this. I'm not intending to, but Dallas for sure.
Yeah. Dallas has won 12 of the past 13 against the Giants, with 7 of those wins coming by at least 15 points. Sorry, 50 points.
I mean, the last one was 40-0, or wasn't it?
And that was with Daniel Jones, who's, I'm going to say it, better than Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I can't in good conscience take the Giants here. I don't know if it got to 21 if I would take the Giants.
Well, how do you feel about the under in this game? Do you think that the Giants can hold Dallas?
No,
it's 38
I like
and a half.
the under.
Can they hold them to 35 points and they can
Yeah,
win
because
35-0?
Dallas gets up 28-0 and they throw 28-3 and they call off the dogs, right? So I would lean towards the under.
Yeah, I think I like the under on this too. This is the biggest money line of the year, right?
I think so.
What was, I guess, Dallas, Arizona was probably big, but not this, and they lost.
No, because we kept getting a lot of games that were 12 and a half early in the season.
A lot of 12s. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get many 13 and a halves or 14s, but like even like when we did guess the spreads on this, because you went somewhat conservative on this.
I think I said 10.
Yeah. And I think I did 10 and a half, but I think I nailed, like, I did 10 and a half just to beat you Price is Right style. But I think I just yelled out 15. Like, it's got to be more than 2 touchdowns based on how the Giants have looked. I won a bunch of money betting on Vegas last week because the Giants are so bad. It's a great spot to bet against Vegas this week, though, I think, because of that.
I don't agree.
Well, would you guys agree that there's not a single surprise, like, team story in the league?
The Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't pick them we picked 30 teams in the win total draft, and they were one of the teams that
I guess that'd be it. But really, like, in its totality, there's no, I guess last year would have been the Seahawks, or like a really good team being horrible. I'd say maybe it's a surprise that the Bills aren't as good as we thought, but there were a lot of people, even before that Jets game, that like called the Bills a house of cards coming into the year. Like that wasn't an that you weren't like if there were more than one person saying that sort of narrative around the Bills.
Yeah, Tim was one of them.
Houston.
I'm actually surprised Jacksonville's been as good as they have been. I thought they'd be like okay, but not great. But they've been great so far after like the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. They have been. They're moving at a great pace. This game here, if they beat the Niners, they're in great shape.
Yeah. Washington and Seattle. This might sneakily be the best game of the 5 o'clock slate or 4 o'clock slate.
Teasing those Seahawks right down.
Right to the pick 'em?
Yeah.
Seattle to a pick. Okay. Do you like them against the spread, though?
I do. I really do. I think Seattle bounces back after a big loss. Everybody sort of saw that game and saw that they looked pretty hapless against a fantastic Baltimore team. And I don't think they're going to be ambitious to pick Seattle, but I really think they're going to play. I still think Seattle's a really good team in the context of the NFC. They have a ton of talent. I still believe that Geno Smith's going to be fine. In an NFC where there are very, very few good quarterbacks, I think Geno's one of the better ones. And I don't trust Washington. Washington almost lost to the Patriots, who are legitimately horrific. So asking Washington to go all the way out to Seattle team that playoff caliber team. I like the Seahawks only laying 6 here.
So if I had to give minerals like you boys do with Cam and Gabe, this would be a mineral along with Tennessee and Atlanta. I love Seattle here. I agree with Tim. I mean, you could debate how good they are, but I think in the context of things, it's a good team coming off a blowout loss, now going home. It's a perfect spot to pick on. Like if Washington hangs around, keeps it close, backdoor covers, I'm not totally shocked, but I think they could get blown out here. I think it's just a really bad spot game, cross-country travel. I like Seattle to win this thing by double digits. I would
Like it.
be tempted to outline this game when I do bet it real.
There's a possibility there. I like Washington +6 here because I think Washington's going to be able to pass all over them. The Seattle pass defense is atrocious, and Gino's straight up been bad. Like, he's been very bad this season. As Celia was kind of pointing out, that if Gino was just like 80% as good as he was last season, Seattle would be way better. But he hasn't been. He just makes terrible mistakes. The accuracy is way down. And yes, they just played the Browns and Ravens in back-to-back weeks. That can kind of make you look pretty crappy. But even against the Bengals, they didn't put up any points. They only put up 20 against an Arizona team you guys just talked about. Like, you know, they should be playing in the CFL or something like that. They started the year off really nicely. They went to the Lions, put up a bunch of points. They played the Panthers and put up a bunch of points, but they gave up 31 to the Lions. They gave up 27 to Andy Dalton and the Panthers. Like this, and they covered that spread. They won that game by 10, 37-27. But that's how I see this game going. And I actually trust Washington's passing offense more than Carolina's, that I think they're just going to be able to score. And Seattle might score the entire time against Washington as well. It just feels like a very high-scoring game, and that neither team's going to be stopped a whole lot. Just Howell will take sacks and turn the ball over more than Gino. Maybe that's good enough for Seattle to cover the 6, but I think Washington has every chance to be in this.
I like Washington. I have fun watching Washington. They're a very entertaining team. I agree with you, Pat. This could be maybe the best game of, like, most entertaining game of football.
Nah. Your game is.
I mean, that could be a sadness game, too.
I hope not. I expect that to be a good game.
Like, it sure could be entertaining.
The Sunday night game is the sadness game.
The Lions get up a quick 14. We lose by a touchdown. Like, sure, fantasy players could be happy with it, but whatever.
Yeah, the same game parlay that I gave out for the live show, if I had just bet over 4.5 Eckler drops, I would have won it. So that would have been nice. Fucking asshole. He scores 2 jabroni touchdowns. A loser. Jets at Vegas, Sunday Night Football.
I told Tim last night that I'd make the Jets my super lock this week. I don't know if I have to live up to that claim, but I do love the Jets. I love the Jets.
I love the Jets too.
Oh, no. I really like the Raiders in this game.
Perfect. This lines up perfectly for us, Geoff. Like,
yeah.
The Raiders, I mean, this was the perfect scenario for this spread, that the Jets, play on a short week. They didn't get embarrassed by the Chargers. They look pretty shitty against the Chargers. Although they
did nothing.
Yeah,
the Chargers won by 21 points, Pat. I've never seen a team win by 21 points doing less than the Chargers did yesterday.
Yeah, basically, Brandon Staley got replaced by Kunu. He was just like, do less. And the Chargers did that finally. And they won the game because of it. Smart strategy. But Vegas looks great with their new coach. Every story you hear about the Raiders right now, Josh McDaniels was a cancer. Everyone hated him. Now all of a sudden this locker room is united. They go out and they lay the absolute smackdown on the Giants. The Giants are the worst team in football. Like, it doesn't seem like it's close at this point.
A Giants team that the Jets barely got by a week and a half ago.
Sure. But the Giants can't play defense. The Jets can play defense. And that's a real problem against the Raiders starting Aiden O'Connell, who sucks. And the Raiders team also sucks. That I think the Jets have the best unit of anything on this field. Their defense is by far the best unit in this game. And if you have the personnel to take away Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, and you have a pretty good run defense, what are the Raiders going to do to move the ball?
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Do not give up a punt return, Tim. Do not give up a punt return. Do not fumble 3 times. You will annihilate the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell, he does have a big arm. Well, the Jets have an incredible secondary, and they don't even blitz to bring pressure. Khalil Mack sacked this guy 6 times in a game. He does not move. You guys are going to kill him. You hit Herbert more times in the first half. He took 10 hits in the first half. That's like a game and a half's worth. Rashawn Slater gave up 8 pressures. That's more than he gives up in a month. Like, you guys are going to, like, the sack fumble, the silly play, like, it's going to be on your side, the Jets side in this football game.
And Vegas
They will
had
shut down that passing game, and they have no. They're going to suffocate the Raiders. Don't give up a kick return. You win the game.
And additionally, I mean, I agree. Like, everything that went wrong for the Jets early in that game went wrong for the Jets. As Tim even pointed out, the variance of fumble luck went against them for the first 3 that hit the ground. The punt return touchdown. Those things don't happen if it's a very close game. Also, like, Vegas is going to get pressure inherently because the Jets' offensive line is so bad, but they don't have a good pressure rate. Like, they don't get to the quarterback. So if there's ever a game where Zach Wilson might have an extra second and a half, it's this one.
So I know Pizzola brings it up all the time that, like, Patrick Graham, I think his name is, or Graham, that the D coordinator in the Raiders, they're like the most conservative defense. They literally let you walk into the red zone and hope you stall for a field goal. I don't know. Didn't really watch a ton of the Raider game last week. I don't know if Pierce, a defensive player guy, is like changing how they are playing defense and their strategy, but you could literally just Tyler Bajant them to death. Like, they don't cover the flat. You could blood dump all over the Jets, all over the Raiders. They don't. I mean, sure, Max Crosby can cause a problem.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's one guy.
I would do what but I would watch the Bajant, the Bears Raiders game and just copy that. And Zach Wilson can do that.
No, I'm getting the sense that there's some acrimony now developing in the locker room from what I'm reading about the fact that the offense is not helping out what have been some Herculean performances from the defense, and there's frustration. And I don't know, the Raiders seem like they have a ton of wind in their sails right now, and I'm teasing the Raiders up.
That wind is going to evaporate. It's going to fly away like a fart the moment the Jets defense line up on that football field and hit that guy.
I hope so, but I just don't see it happening.
And then you're 5-4, and who do you play next?
Buffalo, so 6-4, but still, like, I'm
I don't mind you teasing up the Raiders actually makes a lot of sense. Like, the thing that you have to fade is that they don't score anything or they hand the Jets a bunch of points, which I think is very live here.
Aiden O'Connell has never seen anything remotely close to what is coming. Aiden O'Connell's played 2 games. The Chargers, who at the time were the worst defense and still might be horrible, and the Giants, who we've acknowledged might just be a team that's quit or doesn't care. Like, I think he could be body bagged by that Jets defense.
And then you get your dream scenario, Tim, and Jimmy G comes in the game.
I mean, if Jimmy G is taking competitive snaps in the game, then the Jets have an excellent chance.
See,
but I think you guys are downplaying. You're downplaying,
so
I think. I know, but I think O'Connell's decent, and I think the Raiders have turned a bit of a corner here.
O'Connell is decent, but what O'Connell's strengths are, like, his strengths and weaknesses are any quarterback is a horrible matchup for the Jets. Look what the Jets did to Mahomes, to Hurts, to Allen, to Herbert.
Now, all those games were in New York.
Imagine what they're going to do to Tua on that Black Friday game.
That is like your season,
just imagine,
feel, right?
Imagine what's going to happen in that game.
Is that our next watch along? Gary and me and you, Black Friday game.
It is American Thanksgiving, so maybe you guys could.
It's the day after, isn't it the Friday?
Yeah, but it's Black Friday.
I mean, but like, we're not. You guys, like, if we were American, you'd probably have obligations, even if you were still watching football.
Oh, Garion is American, though, so we'll see. He's a dual citizen.
Yeah, but I mean, what's he going to be doing? Like, he could do, like, what's his Friday? Lunch at Wendy's? Like, he could do it if you guys wanted to do it.
Well, there's that new Wendy's open now in Liberty Village.
Yeah, that's why I made the joke. And so they're like, it was a low hanging fruit.
He doesn't work or live in Liberty Village. He doesn't. Like,
I knew that, actually.
You remember when everyone got, like, when that company shut down that we all used to work for? He used to work there too.
Yeah, no, because it was brought up. It was brought up last time. By the way, the interior of a Wendy's in 2023 is just the saddest thing.
Oh, it's such sad. I mean, we talk about things taking steps forward in the world, but that's such a step back. Mid 1990s Wendy's hit in a way that no other indoor place hits. It's just a fact. And if you don't agree with me, then you should stop listening. You download, skip to the last 5 seconds and listen to the last 5 seconds, but don't listen to the show anymore. We don't need it.
Don't forget to get those ratings and reviewing on Apple and Spotify. The 5 stars.
Yeah, that too. We do all that stuff, but like, we don't respect your opinion. If you don't think mid 1990s Wendy's interior decorating wasn't like the top.
I mean, too bad that
I would live in a place like that.
Too bad they just can't charge you for nostalgia. Then you'd be broke.
I'd pay.
I know you would.
Maybe, well, sports has had a big nostalgia phase. Maybe fast food will also.
Oh, this is an idea I have for another corner, that every fast food restaurant in every major city should be forced to have one location, which is the nostalgia location.
I don't think I've ever said this before on one of your Cust Corner ideas. I think that's a great idea.
It's a great idea, and you should run that by Cam. Cam will probably love that so much also. I love that idea, Tim.
Yeah, I would love to take my kids to an old mid-90s McDonald's where they have like the play pit. Remember, you used to be able to ride on like Grimace on those things outside.
Absolutely, yeah, all that stuff. Or like early 1990s Dairy Queen with like all the stuff they had there, and the Dennis the Menace stuff, and you could get the menu from like 1991 or 1992, and like, yeah, you go to AW and hang out with the Root Bear, and
Yeah, but I like your idea that just one.
One per city.
Yeah, because then
that's the nostalgia one.
Yeah, because if I was going to bring the kids out to go, when I bring the kids to McDonald's, I always go to the same one because it's close. Like if it was 10 minutes away or something, like I'd bring them to that one.
Absolutely, and every fast food chain in the city over a certain size should have to have one nostalgia place.
I mean, I don't think that they should have to have it. I think it would be a good idea to have it.
Be a great idea. If I have a good Sunday,
you're going to do it?
I'm going to bet a lot on the Jets. If I have a bad Sunday, I'm going to bet a lot on the Jets.
And then if you win, you can start a retro Wendy's with the thing.
You can get all the Biggie stuff, and yeah, with a solarium, and you can get your Biggie fries, and oh man,
and you could use it.
And also the packaging is retro. Oh my!
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Oh.
Everything.
And you could probably rent that out as an event space as well.
Well, that'd be an awesome
to
place.
throw like retro parties. Like it's only open from, like it doesn't have the same hour. It's not a 24-hour fast food place because there's an event space. You could turn the solarium into a hilarium and have stand-up comedy there.
And like the Subway would cut the sandwiches the old way, and the McDonald's would have pizza.
Well, the thing is, Subway doesn't have to change. Subway looks exactly like it always has.
No, it doesn't. Not all
the
those
Subway's
places
actually
have
done a big rebrand. Like they're doing major renovations.
They don't have the wallpaper on the wall anymore of old time New York City and all that stuff.
You mean the subway station stops?
Well, just like it had the really cool wallpaper.
Do you know what the problem with the Wendy's rebrand is?
What?
Is society doesn't appreciate a dead old white man anymore.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Jeff. You say Dave Thomas got canceled?
Well, yeah, I mean, they took him off the nostalgia. The nostalgia cups has got a big Dave Thomas.
But what about Colonel Sanders? He constitutes as a dead old white man. He's still on all KFC stuff.
Yeah, but Melissa McCarthy plays him in commercials now.
The retro KFC would be awesome too.
Would you have to bring a bucket of fried chicken for me?
For me.
I love the. I haven't been to KFC in like legit 15 years. But they still have like the bucket of chicken, or is it just like a flat?
Oh, it's a bucket.
It's a bucket. You can still get a bucket.
Oh yeah, maybe we should order a bucket into the house.
The novelty KFC would have to have the old gravy that you could have like a spoon stand up in.
Yeah,
I don't want to put this out there, but if Tim was talking about ordering a bucket, I think I saw a commercial that like if you download the KFC app, your first order, you can get a free bucket.
Really?
But
you'd have to download the app, sign up. You'd rather pay for the bucket, dude. Trust me. I know you.
And you can only get the bucket from the ones they've painted green.
And it has to be a mobile order, and you forbid to mobile order.
I don't know how to do any of that.
I mean, if you had the app, you could probably figure it out pretty quickly. What if, because there's a bunch of pop-up places. Like I remember they did the Seinfeld diner at different places. Could you do like knockoff versions of this? Where you could rotate the restaurant to make it look like mean, that'd be a lot of money, obviously. But if you had the money, you want to do it as a vanity project, could you have like a retro 50s McDonald's for 2 months? And then it would be like a mid-90s Wendy's.
The cease and assist would be strongly worded, I believe.
Can you imagine what it would be like to go to 1991 Pizza Hut with the old red glasses and the buffet?
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. I feel like one's childhood is not quite as fulfilled as it might be if you can't go to a Pizza Hut all-you-can-eat buffet the way we did. I feel like you're missing something important. Something like a keystone.
Do you think, serious question, you could polish off an entire dessert pizza to yourself?
If the tank was empty, 100%.
No, I've recently had one of those Treatza pizzas from Dairy Queen in our freezer.
Those are different. Those are ice cream, Jeff. That's different.
Oh, sorry. So what's this again?
The dessert pizza from Pizza Hut was like the real pizza, but it like pizza dough, right? But remember, it had like strawberry and icing. It's a very different beast. It's not nearly as rich. Yeah, on an empty stomach, I could polish one of those away. God, I used to love that buffet. And the coolest thing was it wasn't just the pizzas that was awesome. The salads were good. The breadsticks were good. It was all good.
For someone who likes to beat the buffet, that sounds like a very minus EV move going to the salad and breadsticks.
Yeah, but it was really good. Oh, and the pasta bar was good too.
Tim, if someone invites you to a buffet, like it's their treat, would you still feel the need to?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm playing for something. I'm like the blackjack dealer playing with someone else's money. Here I'm now trying to beat the house for them.
You're the dealer in the game?
Yeah, exactly. I'm the dealer in the game. I'm trying to beat the house on behalf of the person who bought me the dinner.
So I'm setting up the Mayo Media Christmas party right now, Geoff. And I've got I hired a bartender, so I have an open bar coming in. We'll have the food like we did last year. Do you think I should hire a dealer to I'll bankroll it. You can play blackjack at my party?
That's pretty funny. Dangerous. I like that you are the hat. Like there'll be a dealer sitting there, but the house is pat.
Yeah, and if you need to buy in, you can transfer me some money. I'll give you some cash.
Yeah, and you'll give credit. You'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, here's.
I'll sign off on that guy. There's a couple people I know that I would not sign off on. They're not good for it.
Man, is it 3-2 blackjack?
Monday Night Football.
Where's Lucky Ladies?
Denver at Buffalo. So, Tim, we already know you're taking Denver.
I am. I love Denver in this game. I feel strange to say, but I just think they have a good game plan for Buffalo. Run the ball, eat clock, try not to make any mistakes. And the Bills, that crowd is going to be as anxious as it is excited for a Monday Night Football game. This is a big game for Buffalo. They should definitely win this ball game. So the fact that they're going to feel that pressure in a game against Denver's going to sort of be playing more freely. I think it's a pressure-packed spot for the Bills.
Very much so. And Broncos coming off the bye week. Broncos getting healthy. Their defense, after getting embarrassed at Miami, has actually looked pretty good the past few weeks. I mean, not that limiting the Chiefs is some special accomplishment at this point, but they broke that streak against the Chiefs. Maybe they got really up for that game. Maybe that was their Super Bowl, and it's all back to what it was with the Broncos right now. I do think that the crowd gets up for this game. I think this is not a get-right spot with Buffalo, but it's a spot where we can see that they can still play at this point. And I just don't think that Denver brings enough pressure to rattle Josh Allen. He's going to have a ton of time. I think you're going to start seeing Josh run a whole lot more, Geoff.
I would agree with that. I think the Bills in their success in the points per game, I see it mentioned that it's at least 3 rushes less a game at the moment. So that makes sense. So Tim is a Reddit guy. He goes on to Reddit. He trolls fan bases. I'm not a Reddit guy. I've literally never been there. I do the old school.
You're more of a 4chan guy.
Yeah. Whatever that is. I do the old school classic Reddit. You know what that is?
The newspaper?
No, with a little more technology.
You cut out letters from magazines and tape them to letters and mail them to Bills fans?
No, what I'm saying
I know
is
how bad you are.
When the Bills have it didn't go well, I could just hit two buttons in my car and I can get Buffalo radio. Although I guess with technology now, I could get it on my phone anytime. Anyway, so charm of being in my car after a bad day for the Bills, I listen to Buffalo radio. That's probably like the Reddit boards, okay? Because they're losing their minds. I don't know. Someone who one of the hosts mentioned that he thinks he thinks the Broncos are going to cover easily. Not that matters, but his point was like, this is the books. This line feels like the books haven't adjusted to the potential current landscape of the Bills.
Maybe, but I think that you're going to get a lot of Broncos money at this number. I think this line is adjusted for the Bills. Like, this is a smaller favorite than I would have expected the Bills to be at this point of the season. I think this is, should they rightfully be 7.5-point favorites this week? I think you could argue no. They could be 6-point favorites. They could be 5-point favorites, and you'd think about it, then you'd take the Bills. But I think this is the right number, that people want to bet the Broncos at more than a touchdown right now. I think they're evening it out that way. Like, it does feel like the right number to me.
And last time you saw the Broncos, they beat Chiefs and Mahomes.
Beat the Chiefs,
I'm with
and then
you, Pat.
then they got a bye week. So they're fine now. In the perception.
It's almost just the Mafia Monday night. I feel like they can win this game and do something to cover. I don't love the number, though. I'd be pretty nervous. I think Denver in this number is live, but I don't have the guts.
Where was the Bills and Giants game? It was in MetLife.
It was in Buffalo.
No, it was in MetLife.
Was it MetLife? There's something about that is it Josh Allen can't deal with the turf in that stadium or something? Like, he is shit when he goes to that stadium.
No, there's ghosts. Remember Sam Darnold?
He's haunted?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the ghosts were in New England haunting Sam Darnold.
I just dropped the bag.
The Bills have played the two MetLife games, the London game.
The Bills game was at home. Or sorry, wait.
Yeah, it was at home against the
Giants.
It was in Orchard Park. Okay, so that doesn't work. I'm just trying to look at some of the teams. Like, they lost to the Patriots. That was at New England. They went down to Washington and curb stomped them. They stomped the Raiders at home. They stomped the Dolphins at home. They beat the Bucks. They had that game controlled the entire way, and then it just seemed like they stopped trying on offense in the second half. They moved the ball no problem. So, back at home in this game, the Giants game felt like a little aberrational. Tyrod revenge game against them. The Giants played some really good D. It feels, like I said, not a get right, but if the Bills want a chance to get because Paul mentioned it, they play some tough games here coming up. They need to win the next 2 weeks against the Broncos or Jets, or their season might be over.
Good.
Okay, so I'm going to take
Bills
Buffalo.
fans certainly think it's over. Speaking of Reddit, Bills fans certainly think it's over.
I mean, Jets fans were all over the map last night when I tweeted out Jets Reddit.
Yeah, there was a lot of mixes.
A lot of not Zach Wilson's fault, though. A lot of sticking up for Zach Wilson.
Well, he's not the only problem, but he's a big problem.
Not according to Jets Reddit. He's a hero.
No, he's not. We just need Aaron back.
Yeah, you certainly do need Aaron Rodgers back. Although I do worry, like I told you last night, that you're going to get him back there. He's not going to be able to move, and he blows out his other Achilles.
Okay. You think I call Brandon Staley the monorail guy. That's true.
Is it Aaron Rodgers?
I got sucked in. But the true snake oil salesman of the moment in the National Football League is that Aaron Rodgers. He is selling my friend Tim snake oil.
Do you think
it is unfair?
This is an elaborate tie-in with all those snake oil commercials? That would be amazing if it was.
It is just so wrong that he's got people eating this shit up.
Like I said, the funniest thing would be if he does come back, yet he's can't move and is worse than Zach Wilson. What do you do then? If Zach Wilson gets you to the precipice, or if Simeon ends up coming in, which Salah said they're not doing this week. If that happens and they have to win 2 games at the end of the year to get in, and Aaron Rodgers is coming back, and he's like, yeah, well, I want to play. They're gonna play him. And what if they put him back there and dude just takes a sack every time because he can't evade anything with the terrible offensive line?
Oh well, I guess that's how it ends then.
That's how you'd want to go out?
I would rather go out trying with my best quarterback, yes.
But it wouldn't be your best quarterback at that point if he couldn't move.
Nah. He wouldn't be cleared out there if he couldn't move.
Yeah. I mean, he probably shouldn't be cleared anyway, but he sounds like you said he's probably going to come back, right?
What he keeps saying.
Do you think he's using his doctors? Because that's the other part of this that no one has talked about. He needs to be cleared by team doctors. And I don't believe he's using team doctors at the moment. He's using his doctors.
The doctor, like the doctors, has said Donald Trump is the healthiest man to have ever run.
Yeah. That's Aaron. Dr. Nick is his fucking doctor. Can you recap the free money for us, please?
Sure. There's more legs on it than I would like, but there's a lot of free money out there this week, so take advantage. It is, in no particular order, teasing the Chargers, Seahawks, Bengals, Ravens, Broncos, and Raiders up 6 points apiece.
I didn't realize you were doing it with the Broncos as well. So you're teasing them to 13.5?
Yeah. You know what? I'm taking the Broncos off. That's not a there's not enough. There's not enough value in that.
Come on.
No, you should keep it. Then you can hedge out on Monday or middle of the game.
Yeah, easy money.
All right, fine. Keep them on then. That's the teaser.
You know, this NFL new flexing rule, like the updated flexing rule, it feels a lot like the pass interference challenge rule of a few years ago. It's like they put it in, but they forbid to use it.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
It logistically, I think it's pretty hard to do.
I agree. Totally, I agree. But they
next week's week
us
11,
by saying they changing the rule, so we're all like, okay, you changed the rule, do good by that.
Yeah.
Next week is week 11, a normal week where they would flex, and they've decided no, Broncos Vikings are staying on Sunday Night Football.
Well, Josh Dobbs, story of the year. Got to have him on Monday Night Football. Got to have him on primetime.
I guess.
He's an astronaut.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Pat. It is. There's a lot of logistics that go into it. But some of the matchups they're keeping would literally, like, there's no way they should be staying if the rule is being utilized.
Yeah, Jets Raiders has no business being the Sunday night game with the schedule we have.
That's true with this week's schedule, but maybe they're just saying, like you said, that the Jets games have been rating really well. Maybe there's also a chance too that the NBC crew is just like, hey, we want to go to Vegas. Like
that's 100% true.
You always forget about this stuff. That there's still a human decision behind this. That there's someone making this decision. Maybe they want to go to Vegas.
100%. And as I mentioned a couple times, as it pertains to Vegas, I believe Vegas games, like for travel, like it's a destination game. I feel like we'll see in the future. I feel like Vegas primetime games will be far less likely to be swapped than others. It just feels like a true destination game for a lot of the people who go to the games in Vegas.
Yeah, and if that's true, and I mean, anecdotally, this is what we're talking about. I have no idea if this is based in fact at all, but if you move that game to even 4 hours before, you know that if there are people who are coming in for this game, they're flying in like midday on Sunday, going straight from Harry Reid to the stadium kind of thing to go watch the game. Maybe get a quick few drinks in, maybe hit the Rippers for a bit, but going straight to the game, that if you did move it up by 4 hours, that the people who had booked their flights for this game already are kind of fucked.
Yeah. I mean, I would think more so like people coming from New York probably plan like a full weekend, but it's a destination game. It's a destination game, in my opinion.
You do have people that will be coming in from New York, but any game that is in Vegas, I just think is going to be perpetually very hard to move because there's going to be so many people that plan coming into Vegas, regardless whether they're fans of the teams or not. Bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, that going to a Raiders game is a part of what they're going to be doing that weekend, that it feels like it needs to be a bit more solid in the planning because so many people from not there would have a very tough time to amend their schedules.
Agreed. Destination game.
All right. Superlocks for the week. Geoff, you want to start? You've given us like 5 Superlocks so far. Which one?
4. I have 4 games that I love this week. I love Tennessee. I love Atlanta. I love it was Tennessee, Atlanta, Seattle, and the Jets. I am going to go with Atlanta.
ATL -1. The Road Dogs. You got Jesse James as your super lock this week. Tim, what are you taking?
Torn between 2 games. Between Seattle and the Raiders.
Take the Raiders.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Raiders.
Las Vegas plus 2.5. What do I want to do here?
1.5.
It's 1.5. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was thinking about taking the Jets minus 1.5. Now it's down to minus 1.5. Shortlist them. New Orleans shortlist. I really do like Washington. I kind of like Dallas to just annihilate and cover the 16. That's too crazy though, Geoff, to take a minus 16 as a super lock.
Yeah, I don't like betting those games.
Fuck it. Dallas minus 16. That will be my super lock. Watch the Giants win. Although Dallas is great at home. So we'll see about that. All right. A shortest show. I guess we did spend 4 hours talking last night.
We did.
People can go revisit that if they want to.
We're like Krusty after being on the air for 15 consecutive hours.
Yeah. The alkali flats of the Springfield Badlands.
Now, what would happen if you had Cam on for 4 straight hours and then had him on the show the next day for 3 hours?
I mean, that's basically what he does with Morency.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
But he's always like in a rush to get off your show. That's why I say that.
Yeah, he's in a rush. Cam is perpetually in a rush to go somewhere.
Always in a rush. Always.
I don't know what he's rushing to do exactly, but he's always in a rush. He needs that time. Don't have enough time to do things. Got to go. But I'll be back with Rob and Cam tomorrow on the show. And then Tambo is doing that giveaway. So rate and review the audio podcast for the Pat Mayo Experience. And check out shipitnation.com. Code Mayo to get in those draws. And then pray Tambo wins. Or hell, if he comes inside the top 5, it's 6 figures. So he'd be cutting off 5 figures to a bunch of you here to get it in. So just go cheer him on. Yeah, it's fun to support someone from the show. I told him selfishly, I was wishing it was going to be me, but I did not qualify, and he did. So he's going to be in Miami. So he's going to be off the show. He'll be here this week, but he won't be here the next 2 weeks to do the DraftKings show. So I'll probably tap in Raza or someone like that to come do it. We'll see. Anyway, I want to thank the coin. Forgot to introduce him at the top of the show here. Paul, Geoff, and Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That's not my name.
But your favorite show of the year, because it's less than 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Well, fair enough. It is a quick one, but like you said, we're sort of punch drunk after a long night last night too.
It really fucked up my day.
Yeah, I was tired today.
Yeah. Well, you said you were able to go to bed directly after we were done.
I was, but I still had to get up early. So
after I do a show, I'm pretty amped up when I'm doing a show, far more amped up than I am in real life. So I got like the adrenaline flowing after we finish a show. So I'm usually like wired for another hour and a half after that. I got to bed at 3 last night when I finally fell asleep. And then my 3-year-old came in at 5 a.m. was like, I'm awake now. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So then I had to go be awake with him on 2 hours sleep. So that was a lot of fun. No more Monday Night Football. There's the game that you can skip. Monday Night Football. Just watch that in the morning.
Agreed.
More neutral site Sunday morning games, though.
No.
I wouldn't even be opposed to running some Saturday night games, too.
Not allowed to, by law.
Is it really by law?
Yeah, till the college season, regular season ends. Not allowed to.
Oh, fuck the NCAA.
It's an antitrust thing. It's in legislation.
What's the antitrust about it, though?
I don't know why it's like that, but it's come up before. It's literally legal. It's literally legislation that while the college football season is going on, regular season, the NFL. And that's why the NFL, the first week after Army Navy, has football games on Saturday because they're allowed to start having them.
I'd be curious to know the legislation behind that. Maybe I'll call Siege. He can let me know.
Yeah,
just talk to me about
but that's the reason.
They should have a show.
The reason.
Siege and Cam should have a show together. The backup quarterback show. There.
No, it's like a bracket. Like which backup quarterback would win the Super Bowl? Like in the history of the last 30 years, like the best backups, and it's like a bracket, and they debate them.
Well, I did ask people for bracket suggestions. That's actually not a bad one. Maybe we can debate. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe we do a bracket of brackets. Maybe we come up with 8 concepts for a bracket instead of having voting for each round of it. It's just whoever the expert panel is picks their winner, and then we put the brackets against each other. What was the best bracket? Maybe backup quarterbacks can be one.
Backup quarterbacks since the year 2000. Cam would love that bracket.
There we go. There's an extra show with Cam. Beauty, Geoff. That's a beauty idea. Right. Rate and review the show, smash the like, sub to the channel, play in the Listeners League, and runthesims.com. Code Mayo gets you 10% off. And check out the First Touchdown Simulator, the Anytime Touchdown Simulator, as the first touchdown one's been hot fire the first week that we put it into existence. So maybe it won't be as hot next week, but if you played it week 1, you did pretty well. That's all I'm saying. Runthesims.com. Code Mayo. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience.
Would Billy Volek be a 1 seed?
Oh, he would almost have to be, right? Like, that would be the fun part. That's the actual show, is creating the bracket.
I mean, like,
Nick Foles probably has to be.
Yeah, Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, and Hofstetter, the two backups to have won Super Bowls.
Yeah, you're right.
Who's
so Nick Foles, but like Billy Volek,
he won the Super Bowl against the Giants.
Billy Volek subbing in for
against the Bills. He was the Giants starting
Steve
quarterback.
We said the past 20 years.
Okay, yeah, true. 20 years, yeah. Nick Foles would be definitely number 1. And Dilfer was a backup that season, so Dilfer would be number 2.
Billy Volek had the best.
Like, Dilfer's its own cat. He was a 1st or 2nd overall pick. It's like it's like a gray area.
Yeah, but that would be no different than if Hurts got hurt like with 1 week to go and Mariota came in and they won the Super Bowl. He was the 2nd pick.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something you could debate with Cam. Pat, like the rules, like how does that? You can't be a 1st or 2nd overall pick and then get to be our star backup bracket. Like,
I don't know. Like, if Jameis came in and the Saints won the Super Bowl, we'd call him a backup.
Okay, you're right. So there has to be a time frame from that. You have to have spent enough years as an official backup to qualify.
Agreed.
See, now we're making.
You're right.
This is the show.
You might have, yeah, you're right. Just deciding what the rules are and naming the players might be the show. You're right.
All right, gents. Have a good evening.
Later.
Yeah.
Experience.